Good morning, everyone. Hi, 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 everybody. I am whatever it means to be very Okay, so imagine a person, okay, with social anxiety who gets depressed if they've gone too long not hanging out with other people, and also gets tired very quickly when hanging out with other people. Why you calling me out? I know. Yep. Like I love other people, and if I don't hang out with my friends and if I don't hang out with other people, I get really depressed really quickly. But also, hanging out is a very draining experience for me. If that makes sense. I don't know how much of that makes sense. Is the soundboard set up? Oh, yes. I like the concept of hanging out, but then I interact with other people and it's usually depressing as hell. Wait, why? I don't know. I feel like one thing I've learned and one thing I've realized is that even hangouts that go really poorly are kind of, they just end up being really funny stories. I have to say, one of the most depressing things that happens more than I'd like it to is talking to other people and they're like, well, what have you been up to? And I'm like, I don't know, playing video games. And hanging out with other people is a great way to just like have weird experiences all of the time. So it's kind of like a win-win. Either I go outside and I have like an insane experience with other human beings that are weird. Or I go outside and I hang out with people that are actually kind of cool. So it's like, do you think there's something wrong with wanting to be left alone? Like, do you think it's possible to be that kind of person and be healthy? I mean, I think it's possible to be any type of person and be healthy. I'm just saying all of this started because PBD was like, you know what? It'll just, when you're looking for a relationship, it'll just come naturally. It'll come when you least expect it. And I was saying, like, that's fucking stupid. No, I hate when people say that. I think you have to like other people to some extent if you want to go and meet someone and date someone. Like, I don't think someone's just going to show up. Like, you're not going to have a meet cute at the grocery store. And if you had one, you'd probably get annoyed if you don't like people. You're like, why is this person talking to me? I'm just trying to get eggs. So, like, you have to, I think, have a natural love for other people. And want to talk to other people. Just waiting doesn't do anything. I mean, it literally doesn't. If you don't care and you're down to be alone for the rest of your life forever, sure. Not my business. But if you do want to find someone, I do think that like waiting for it to happen is not a good strategy. I don't think it's a good strategy. I went to the range with some friends last night. We got some food. When we got back, my car was locked up in the parking lot and I couldn't get it. I had to get a ride and then get picked up. It ended up being both funny and a chill hang where friends helped each other. Well, yeah, and it's like, I don't know. I just feel like not to be too silver lining, but I feel like even like the worst hangouts I've had have been funny stories, you know? Either I genuinely enjoy the company of the people that I'm hanging out with, or I hate it, but then it's a really funny story for one of my cool friends later, you know? I get why people say that though. Instead of being obsessed with dating, people need to learn to be in a social setting that aren't dating. Well, yeah, I think that like if you're obsessed with trying to date, then I think you might be fucked a little bit. But I also think that like just wait is not necessarily, I think just waiting is a good strategy if you're already a very extroverted person that likes to go out a lot and likes to talk to people a lot. I think then yeah, for sure. But if you're not already that type of person, you need to do that, you know? Um just make friends and shit should happen naturally. No, but actually, it's weird. I felt like it was so easy to meet people most of my life. In the past couple of years, it's been a lot harder. Whiplash did fuck me up poorly. What glorious news. It's Denim Sunday. Sunday, fun day. Anyways, that's all I was going to say. I just wanted to share that. And it's cool how many places you can go to like meet people. Like straight up going to a card shop and there are so many people there hanging out and playing card games. And it's like, wow, this is like, if I was really into cards, I only went into the card shop to get cards for one of my gambling friends that loves cards. But I can't get into like a physical card collection. Sorry. And I was like, wow, if I was really into like Magic or something, I would come here and I would play games and I would just like ask people like, hey, can I join or something? Where am I supposed to meet other Linux users? The funniest thing I could say. What was I saying? Oh, or like, I was hanging out with like a family friend the other day and they took me and some other people to like 5 different bars and like music clubs that were all like free entry. And I was like, wow. And they were like nice places. I was like, wow, this is like, I don't know. I could just like go outside and just like go somewhere and then figure it out, you know? Wow, that's really cool. But also like even just like making friends through my computer, you know? And I will say I feel like I've been camera is too big, bothering me. I don't know, I feel like I've met a lot of people through the computer, and I've met a lot of people online who have met their girlfriends or boyfriends or fiancés or spouses on the internet. But again, like, this is what I mean when I say, like, you have to like people. It doesn't mean that you have to go outside and go to bars. It just means go and do stuff that you like and try and talk to and enjoy the company of the other people who do stuff. Like, when you hear people on, like, whatever game you're playing, talking in mic, what's the harm in joining in, right? Like, what's the, you know? There are chatters who have gotten married, Denims. I mean, like, literally. Did you nail that social interaction? Here's the other thing. I'm free because I'm cringe. I just assume that I will, like, fumble every social interaction. Which lets me be free. Because it's like, that's okay. Even if every interaction goes horribly, I'm doing my best. So I don't need to care about it. Which is very, like, it's a great way to release your anxiety. But anyways, I don't know. Enough of this. Enough of this conversation. It is Sunday, fun day. I've adapted this mindset recently. It's so freeing. It is. It is freeing. Nah, that sounds like a lot of work. I'm dying alone. Okay. Okay, if you want to. I feel like the best reward is to try and to fail and fail and fail and then succeed. Personally. But if you don't want to, okay, go for it. You gotta live your life. Yeah, if I just wanted to, like, do nothing, I would just die. You know what I mean? That's just my personal mindset. It's like, why am I alive if I'm not trying my best? You know? If I'm not living life to the maximum. And living life to the maximum, if that means talking in voice in my Marvel Rivals games, then that's what that means. Then that's what that means, you know? Why are we here just to suffer? The point of life is to experience it. That's what I'm saying. Go skydiving? Okay. I have too much melanin for that, all right?
We don't need life advice from an OnlyFans whore that is going to be broke bitch soon. I can't wait to watch you get pounded for money. I'll toss you a couple of bucks when that happens.
See, this is someone who honestly genuinely needs life advice. You're spending your Sunday morning typing hate comments to someone who only thinks it's funny. If you had anything you enjoyed doing in life, you would be doing that instead. If you were good at video games, you would be playing video games. If you had friends, you'd be hanging out with friends. If you had family that actually could tolerate your presence for more than 5 seconds, maybe you'd be getting breakfast with them on this wonderful Sunday, but you have nothing. That's okay. If you want to come here and advertise it, you could go ahead and do that, buddy. can go ahead and do that. But, okay, so we have a lot of stuff to get to. First and foremost, I don't know how many of you guys saw. I think most of you have probably seen by now, but Ethan Klein has decided to just give up all moral high ground and is just suing is just suing iDubbbz for something that he refuses to sue C. Samsony over. And it was like, I saw just some clips, and it was the saddest, most pathetic thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, it is truly the Ethan Decline show. Oh, man. So yeah, I wanted to talk about that and show you guys some of those clips. And then... And then... Did you guys see Kars4Kids fundraises for Israel? Huh? Bruh? I saw you talking about it on my personal Insta feed. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I want to talk about that. And then, I'm sure many of you guys have already seen it, but like Nithya Raman going on Hasan's broadcast, and then Hasan being like, do you, or do you not? Do you support a genocide in Gaza that is being done by an ethno-state? And she's like, I think I support that. And it's like, okay. Which I gotta say really quickly, I am happy to see Hasan getting more and more brazen with the interviews. So I want to talk about that. And then failed the assignment, yeah. And I just wanted you guys to all know I did get a soundboard. I have a soundboard now. But I am not going to abuse my soundboard, all right? We're going to enjoy it. All right? Sparingly. Okay? You say that now? Nah, can we get 1 day of soundboard abuse? No. No. All right. So let's get into it, shall we? Shall we get it? But also, can we finish this segment before we get into it?
Let's see button on this video at the end. Nick Shirley does an ad for how you can find him on Manect.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
We may have some other. I understand that the Manect stuff is really starting to fill up with some very high quality Manect content, and I will let people know about that when I get that confirmed.
Okay. Here's the Manect ad.
It'll be life changing.
I'm Nick Shirley, and you guys can find me here on Manect. Go ahead and ask me any questions, whether it be about politics, about what I believe, or where I think the future of the country will be going, or just quite frankly.
Why would I ever want to get expert advice instantly? What possible expert advice could you be getting from Nick Shirley? How to look like a fucking idiot 24/7?
Anything. You can ask me here on Manect. I really appreciate all your support, and I can't wait to answer your questions.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And
It's just a cycle of plugs at the end. Wow. Can that be a show expense? Can I Manect with Shirley?
Yeah, I got some questions.
Actually, I mean, probably. I feel like we could do hours of show. Just the real question is like, which would actually make more money? Him on Manect from us keep calling, or us playing the video of you on Manect with him?
I think that'd be a fun game for people to recommend us a prompt to give to Nick Shirley, and if our video of it earns more than we had to pay to get Nick Shirley prompted, then you win. And I bet you
That would be good. Yeah. Fallopian tube. I'd like to ask Nick Shirley what his favorite Curious George book is.
I have a yellow hat.
Asking about I was thinking about like political things, but it's funny. You're just like, hey, what do you think about the Berenstein Bears?
He's only $100 for text, 75 for video. I don't understand. Why would it be more for text?
Oh, darn it.
Yeah, typing is really hard.
It's just harder for him to write.
Right, exactly. It's a literacy problem.
Nefarious Bread, can I just connect him to asking him to pronounce the name Barbara Walters? That's an old joke. That's, wow.
I like this thumbnail. This is offensive, and it's just a photo of JD Vance. I totally agree. I completely agree. Oh my god. All right. Okay, all right. All right. Now.
Now
Okay.
for the
This is what I saw that made me be like, oh man, dude, we gotta watch this fucking interview, man. Fuck.
elephant in the room, a tough one, but a few weeks ago you posted multiple statements, rightfully acknowledging the Armenian genocide and celebrating the Armenian diaspora in Los Angeles. As you might know, the word genocide was coined by Polish Jewish lawyer Raphael Lemkin in the early 1940s during his studies of the Armenian genocide with the intention of criminalizing it and preventing the ongoing cost from ever happening again. Do you agree with the dozens of human rights organizations, including Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, that Israel has committed a genocide?
I do, yes.
Okay.
Said that.
In your 2020 DFI-LA questionnaire, you said you don't support boycott, divestments, and sanctions, BDS, and that you support Israel's right to exist. Has your stance changed since then? And do you believe Israel has a right to exist in its current form as an ethno-state that's currently being investigated for genocide at the International Court of Justice?
You know, yes, I do believe that Israel has a right to exist. I want to see countries that are operating without apartheid, with equality in their borders. I come from a country, from India, which is now operating through Hindu nationalist principles, and I'm deeply critical of it. And I'm critical of that when it happens everywhere.
Do you believe that Israel is an apartheid state then?
I think that it is. Yeah, I think that they're not treating people fairly. That they're treating people unequally. I do believe that, and I'm critical of that. But yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god. So let's just watch. Let's just go.
An article said that can a democratic socialist who affirmed Israel's right to
have a lot of power. The biggest power that they have is essentially managing all of the departments. They get to hire and fire department heads. They get to set their priorities. They get to make sure that they're actually doing their jobs. They create the first draft of
Dude, the vibes are just so wrong.
the city's budget. And then the council takes it on and kind of wrangles with it as well. But the mayor does have a lot of power, and a lot of those powers were given to the
She
mayor
needs to connect some better talking points.
during the last charter reform process. And I want to make sure that we're actually using those powers to advance better goals for Los Angeles. And I was looking at this mayoral election and, disappointed by the lack of choices that would have brought us in a better direction, and, decided to throw my hat in the race.
Okay. So you've distanced yourself in the past from Zohran Mamdani. I want to ask you, or at least according to this Forward magazine article, but I don't know if that's still the case.
What's the
This is what the Forward magazine article said, that, can a democratic socialist who affirmed Israel's right to exist, can she be LA's next mayor? Nithya Raman thinks she can win over city's Jewish voters. Step one, convince them she's not Zohran Mamdani. We could start there, or, I was going to ask you, the Zohran method, what are your top 5 policies?
Yeah.
Why do you think the Forward magazine has this kind of
Oh my god, it's so horrible as fuck.
assessment?
I think it's just because I am different from Mamdani. I have been
One of the most successful mayoral campaigns for the Democrats in decades. And your strategy is, I'm different from him. That's not a good strategy. I feel like the correct strategy there, unless you're a conservative, the correct strategy as a Democrat should be, I am basically the same as him. We are exactly the same. No, for sure. Why? Why? Why would you do that?
city politician for the past 5 years, and I have a record that I ran on, that I'm running on right now. You know, I have led in LA the largest expansion of tenant protections in the city in 40 years. I actually led the process through which we lowered allowable rent increases in rent stabilized units here in Los Angeles for the first time in 40 years. Increases went from being, up to 10% to now being capped at 4%. I took away the extra 10% surcharge that landlords could pass on to tenants if they had a second kid. This is how our system was built here in the city of Los Angeles. And I've really worked to try and make it a fairer one for working people, for low-income renters, for people who are really struggling here. And that's been the core of my work at City Hall.
Okay. But let's do the Zohran method. What are your top 5 priorities for Los Angeles, and how would you go about implementing them?
Well, I want to address the cost of housing, and I want to do it in 2 ways. I want to make sure that...
Oh my God, dude. Fucking just... Some of these questions are like the easiest layups on the planet. I feel like maybe it's just that it's obvious to me in hindsight, or like, not even in hindsight, but like, I feel like it's obvious as a viewer watching any of this to think, oh, yeah, we should just copy bar for bar everything that Zohran did. It was very effective. Like, I feel like you shouldn't reinvent the wheel. I think if something works, you can just use that formula over and over and over again until it stops working. Like, as long as you follow through on your promises, I don't see what's wrong with that. I think that is a completely, in fact, I might even argue, I want more Democrats to do that. I want more Democrats to see that Zohran's campaign was so effective, and they say, we need to do everything that this guy is doing. We need to come up with our strategies. We need to have a great marketing campaign. We need to have our big 5 that we go after, and then we need to follow through and show people that they can believe in socialist mayors and governors and congressmen and etc. I feel like I do this in my personal life, and I think it's pretty effective. Like, if you talk to someone and they're fucking ripped, they're jacked, and they're like, oh, this is my workout plan, it's pretty straightforward. I feel like it's kind of stupid to be like, well, I'm going to invent my own strategy. Like, but that you are friends with someone who literally is down to train you. You can see the results. It's very effective. Why are you reinventing the wheel? I'm gonna make my own new workouts. Actually, it's like, why? Why? Literally, why? Why? Ego? I just don't understand. I don't get it. I just don't. Can you imagine you go to someone's place and they make you the best cheesecake of your life? If you don't like cheesecake, I don't know, pick anything else. And you're like, dude, this is so fucking good. And they're like, I can give you the recipe if you want. And you're like, no, I think I'll make it from scratch on my own with no recipe, simply using my brain. It's like, literally, why? Literally, why? Why not just... You already have the perfect recipe for the perfect cheesecake. Why are you reinventing the wheel? That's just Master Baker. Oh my God.
We're protecting renters better. We have a lot of laws on the books. Our city departments are not oriented around protecting them. I want to create an office of tenant protections in the city, and I want to make sure that everything that the city does when a tenant reaches out is really about making sure that people can stabilize and stay in their homes when they're facing unfair evictions. I also think we need to build a lot more.
I'm going to say something bold. People like a good villain. People like there being a good villain. Republicans use this strategy to consistently win elections over and over and over again, by the way. They just the enemies they pick are not actually the people causing the problems. They just pick random enemies because they want to, because those are easy scapegoats. So immigrants, black people, queer people, trans people, women, etc., feminism. None of those things are actually making people's lives worse. And none of those things are the reason why people can't afford housing. It's actually like not that. But it's an effective strategy because everyone can coalesce behind one enemy. To sit here and do all this like, well, we need to put in tenant protections because there are people that are, you know, not getting the tenant protection. It's like, dude, just full send it and say that like it's unacceptable that landlords are allowed to abuse tenants in this way, and I want to put a stop to it. Landlords are a great villain. They're great because they're actually causing the problem, and nobody likes them anyways, other than other landlords. That's a good, like, this is something that I heard you hate flan. Wait, what? No, I love flan. That's why we have flan Fridays. Also, Shai Tempo, thank you for the raid. Welcome, Raiders. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, Raiders. This is what Zohran did. He understands that people like a good villain, and people like and they respond to having an enemy that everyone can agree to fight against. Because these problems didn't just magically arise just because. It's not like housing just magically got more expensive just because, you know, like tide comes in, tide goes out. No one can explain it. No one can explain any of this. Like, no. I'm pretty sure housing is as bad as it is, and tenants are so fucked because of landlords, actually. So it's a pretty easy villain to go into or to go after that would get you massive support. And you're just not going to do it. It's like, oh man, dude, fuck.
More housing here in Los Angeles. I don't know how much you know about the history of LA, the history of housing politics in Los Angeles, but this city has pushed back against the construction of new housing, and in ways that have made it more segregated. Wealthier neighborhoods have pushed back housing a lot. And we have a shortage of something like 500,000 units of housing, especially affordable housing. I believe, you know, housing really should be a right, and people need to be able to afford to live here. The city cannot build the amount of social housing, public housing that we need. And I want to make sure that...
Do people like Nithya? I don't have words to describe it other than it gives me big Kristen Cinema vibes.
We are able to generate more units so that the cost of housing actually goes down. So for me, this is really at the core of what I want to do here in LA. I also think we need to address homelessness with services, with shelter, and make it really effective so that people don't lose faith in our system right now. I think a lot of people are looking at our responses to homelessness. This is a city that has taxed itself 3 times in the last few years to pay to address the crisis on our streets with compassion, with care, with shelter, with housing. If we don't make that system work for people, you know, I think people lose faith in government. And I really believe in government, and it has to work. We have to show that this approach of offering shelter, offering services can work to address the crisis on our streets. Otherwise, people will turn away to a much more carceral, much more, enforcement-focused system that I think is really bad for Los Angeles.
Out of the top 3 candidates, you actually have a lot of experience with homelessness initiatives. You have a lot of hands-on experience. One of the most frustrating things that I saw on that debate stage was when Spencer Pratt was...
Is this true? Chat was in emote only mode? Oh no.
Okay. Talking to you about how, oh, if you want to fix homelessness, if you think you can like communicate your way out of homeless people being homeless, you should go talk to them. And yet out of that debate stage, you were the only person who has actually had a hands-on approach on this.
Not initially, but it changed at some point.
I wish you would have
tough.
brought it up in that moment to be like, I actually have.
Well, I tried. I was shut down a lot in that debate.
I actually have, literally
Yes.
communicated with homeless people and have had a very successful initiative in moving them into permanent shelter.
Yeah.
As opposed to these like patchwork solutions that are usually offered.
Spencer Pratt wants to respond to our homelessness crisis, I think, in a way that is really grounded in making people feel afraid and in kind of engendering fear of people on the streets. And
It was basically when she started talking about cops that chat lost their shit. Yeah.
I think we can address this crisis effectively, and we can address it with real policies that work, and that is sheltering people, that is housing people, that is making sure that people have mental health services and substance use services. We have to do that work if we really want to make sure that we're addressing
Can you
homelessness
talk
effectively.
directly about like what you have done for people that might not know as far as like your initiatives? Like, because I remember there was a very successful one where you guys went into a lot of the homeless encampments and established a point of contact and a relationship with these people.
Yes.
Instead of just like engaging in these mass sweeps that are oftentimes there's a lot of destruction of property and the like. It was a much more humane method and was much more successful. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So across my district, we have actually reduced street homelessness by 54% in just a period of 3 years. And we did that not by pushing people across the sidewalk to another sidewalk or pushing people into another neighborhood, but by going to them encampment by encampment, person by person, offering shelter, offering housing, moving people indoors. And then once people are indoors, then you can clear the sidewalk and, get rid of the trash, and those areas stay clear because people's homelessness has actually been addressed. I think that is
Dude, this is such bad framing. I want to take care of the homelessness problem so we can have clean streets again. Dude. Dude. Not because people shouldn't be homeless. Not for any empathy for the people that are homeless. Oh, okay.
most important aspect of this is that we have to address homelessness. You can't just push it around from place to place. That doesn't work. It's never been proven to work. This is the only evidence-backed solution, and it is also the only humane solution, and it is what we...
I'm going to say something kind of crazy, but also I feel like it's not crazy at all. I don't understand when Democrats try and appeal to like the center right, because I feel like the center right doesn't exist. I feel like the center right that would appeal to the thing that would actually appeal to those people more would be like saying, we're going to put all the homeless people into a homeless crushing machine so no one has to deal with them anymore. Like, I just don't think.
We've done in my district. And it is that system that I want to bring citywide in a much more effective way than we're doing it right now.
Yeah, housing policy and homelessness are intertwined with one another in a very important way, even though a lot of people like Spencer Pratt and even, no, not right now. A lot of people like Spencer Pratt and even others, like even Karen Bass to a certain degree, don't often make that connection. Los Angeles has the fewest homes per adult in the country.
Yep.
18 to 24-year-olds are the fastest growing demographic in among the homeless. There's been a 64% increase. So you've talked about increasing housing construction, about your propositions are about tripling annual housing construction. There are some critics of this, though, however, obviously. There are some NIMBYs, some critics of this say that this benefits the developers and it will gentrify communities. How do you ensure that the housing boom still serves working class Americans rather than wealthy investors?
Well, first, I want to make sure that new housing doesn't displace existing residents. That is really important. That's why you need to do protection and production side by side. That's why
I went to go check the VOD, and it really did get into emote only mode at a certain point. Oh no. Oh.
I've been so focused on making sure renters are protected throughout my work. And I want to make it a core focus of my work if I'm mayor as well. But I also think that you can build new housing in ways that actually benefits communities and doesn't actually accelerate displacement. So you can create plans for cities that ensure that working families are safe by making sure you're planning in ways that creates more density in neighborhoods that are wealthier, that have historically resisted it, while limiting new density, limiting new growth in neighborhoods that are really suffering from gentrification and displacement. And you can embed that into your plans for the city. You can embed kind of protection of working class people right into the plans that you have for where you want to build more housing. And that's exactly what I've pushed for in my time in council successfully, and exactly the vision that I have for building more housing going forward. I also want to be very clear that the market will not provide housing for everybody. Not everyone will be served. There are going to be the lowest income Angelinos, the people who will never be able to afford what the market is providing them. And that is where I think the government needs to step in. We have to build public housing. We have to build social housing. We have to build affordable housing. All of this is part of my vision for how we address our housing crisis, but we have to do all of it if we want to actually get us out of this moment of crisis here in Los Angeles.
So you mentioned public housing. Are you in favor of socialized housing then? You're in favor of public housing?
I love public housing. I phone banged for HHH, which was actually an expansion of supportive housing, which is...
Dude, I'm surprised a politician like this was able to get so far, because it's very motion. Like, I don't mean to be super harsh, but like the motion is not there. Yes. Public housing. I love that. It's like, can you say it with your whole chest? Like, I don't feel like you believe what you're saying. And it sucks because, like, you can absolutely have policies you stand by and real goals that you hope to achieve, and you can just lack the conviction, the public speaking conviction. But, like, when it's a politician, it comes off insincere.
I think of as public housing, and of supportive housing, which is I think of as public housing, and I campaign for Measure ULA, the mansion tax, which is giving the city a source of building new housing for the first time, and we're building affordable housing, we're building social housing, we're building exactly the kind of housing that is free of market constraints, that can serve the needs of those people who aren't being served by the market.
Okay. You've blasted Karen Bass's Inside Safe program that's designed to reduce homelessness. Can you explain a bit about the program and why it's had its problems, like the $85,000 per year price tag for a simple motel room? There's some other stats we can get into as well. 40% return to the street.
Yeah.
$225 a night in motels. Only 1,243 of the 5,800 participants served. Moved into.
You can tell he was not feeling it. No jokes, no gifts. Yeah. Anyone who's like, why is Hasan endorsing this? It's like, if you think this is an endorsement, man, go get your fucking eyes checked, brother. Okay, this is like
permanent housing, and it's $110 a day for food, but people were served instant noodles.
Yeah, it is. I think the
like, compare this to Hasan getting Ilhan Omar her favorite gift, her favorite drink, room temp iced tea, the correct brand and everything, and he's sitting there and he's giddy as can be. Like, this is like, bro, this is not an endorsement. Oh, fuck.
Program at its core.
To be clear, I actually think that he's doing a pretty good job here, because, like, he's just asking her questions and letting her speak. And I think that is an effective strategy. I mean, think about, like, the documentary that Louis Theroux did in Israel, where it's like, so how do you feel about Palestinians? And then like he talks like a random Israeli and they're like, I think all of them are evil terrorists and all of them should be killed. And it's like, just want to make sure we're on the same page here. Not Hamas. I'm just talking about Palestinians. Do you want to just in case we were, go ahead. Sorry. In case I somehow confused you with my question. I'm just talking about like the Palestinian people and like, you can go ahead and tell me. And then they're like, yeah, all of them, especially the children, especially the terror babies. It's like, oh, well, thank you for your time, I guess. I'm going to go now. All right. I'm just going to go somewhere else. Okay, then. All right. So it's like, I don't think it's ineffective to ask someone questions and then like confirm that like he did one of the things that I really like when interviewers do, which is asking the same question twice. Like he tells her like, what are your 5 like big policies like in the Zohran strategy? Like what are the things you want to do immediately when you get into office? And it's like blah blah blah. I'm gonna help the homeless people, and I'm so good with the homeless people, and we're gonna fix it. And so the streets can finally be clean. It's like, dude. Just anybody have a crowbar I can hit myself in the head with like 40 times? Anyone have one?
Is something that I think is important for LA. Like, let me just be very clear. I support efforts to shelter people in housing that is dignified. And the motel program is one pathway to doing that. But the way that the program has been designed and the way that it has persisted in its design for many years is that it is too expensive to address the scale of the crisis. And we are leaving people on the streets because we're not doing the work to actually generate the kind of shelter that we need. We cannot do that. We cannot allow people to suffer on the streets of Los Angeles. This is the moral crisis of our time. And we absolutely cannot waste money on too expensive solutions that don't bring as many people indoors as possible. I want to do the work to actually build a...
Like, what is this framing? Like, oh my God, dude. What, like... Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, there are these programs that basically buy out motels, and they use the motels to provide housing first to homeless people, and they usually hire a few social workers to help, people who are currently houseless get back on their feet, get work, have a steady address, be able to receive mail, have a phone. Forget my ignorance. Are you from LA too? Well, I'm from New York, but I live in LA now. And the housing first programs across the board always work. And the motel programs that we've seen both implemented, I think there was one that was implemented in Texas and there was one that was implemented somewhere in California. Both of them were very effective at helping homeless people get off of the street and helping them get back into society, be able to get work, be able to get an apartment, be able to get back on their feet. And it is the most effective strategy that we have to date. And doing nothing is more expensive for the city. Doing nothing and not housing those people is more expensive than just housing them and helping them get back on their feet. Because without that help, it'll take people who are homeless years to get back on their feet. Basically, homes are the solution to homelessness. Wow, can you believe that? That's crazy. So for you to say, oh, it's just that the problem is right now that's really expensive. It's like, it is literally a fraction of the cost that currently exists because we allow homeless people to remain homeless. I fundamentally believe that like the Zohran strategy of pointing out that not spending money on a program sometimes means people end up spending more money and we collectively spend more money is a very effective strategy at informing voters and letting them know it is worth every penny we're spending on this is completely worth it because every dollar we spend, we actually save $1.20. Because every time we have to fucking call the cops to come murder a homeless person, that costs taxpayer money. That costs taxpayer dollars. So this like, I think we should do something about the homeless people. Something. We should definitely do something. Just like, not that, because that's expensive.
System that's effective at sheltering people, that brings people indoors into options that are more cost effective and that are actually better at keeping people housed.
This seems to be a consistent problem with a lot of California projects statewide, and certainly is an issue in Los Angeles as well. How do you address corruption that takes place in certain programs such as this one, where clearly there are...
It literally took me a year of living out of my small ass car to stop being homeless, and it was the only way I was able to get through. I was able to get out was through an apartment rental program. The system is fucked. Do you guys remember that one guy who's like, he was a millionaire or whatever, and he was like, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go homeless, and in a year I'll make another $1 million. And within like 2 days of being homeless, he magically got an offer from someone on Craigslist that let him live in their RV. And it's like, oh, so you immediately magically got help. Okay. So you actually didn't bootstrap your way out of it. You immediately got help, which is what everybody else is saying should be done for homeless people.
In certain instances, at least, friendly NGOs and even friendly for-profit institutions that take on government contracts.
Yeah.
And instead of trying to create the most efficient system possible, it simply serves to pay the people that are friendly with the government, or at least are lobbying the government. Is there a way to address this corruption inside of Los Angeles?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why I've been really focused on oversight. I think oversight is really important. And it's not because I think government is corrupt all the time. Like, I really believe in government. I'm in this job because I want this city to work for the people of LA. And programs that are too expensive like this, instances of...
Dude, no! How does someone with so little charisma get so far?
Corruption that show up. Every time that happens, residents lose trust in their city government. And that's bad for Los Angeles. That's bad for this city. And I've really pushed on the issue of homelessness to make sure that we are creating a system of oversight that really works, that we know where every dollar is going, that we know how the money is being spent, how many people are being brought indoors, what kind of services they're getting. And if we don't do the work to build that system, people will lose faith in government. And I worry about that. I don't know about you. I mean, you've lived here for over a decade now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how you feel about the city and the city.
Like, how this is, I mean, so much of this is just like a massive misstep. What do you mean people will lose faith in their government? Okay, this is like a common problem for people who run under the Democratic ticket, failing to recognize when something has already gotten bad and pretending like it hasn't yet. So like, Republicans are really good at saying the country's gone to shit. We need to execute immigrants. Every time we kill one immigrant, we can conduct a blood ritual ensuring that their wealth is transferred to us, the billionaire pedophile. I mean, the American people, okay? But we're not going to look you in the face and lie to you and say that there's no problem. We're just going to lie to you about what the solution is. Democrats are like, happy, fun, la, la, la. Like, you're not going to address that people have already completely lost faith in the system? You're not going to address... Okay.
Government. But I feel like people have a sense of...
Sam 100% needs a studio setting for this. Kind of awkward when he's looking down and guests are trying to look at him. They have nowhere else to look. I think it's fine. I think the problem is when he doesn't want to look at the candidate. It's a little awkward. I think then it's awkward for that person. But maybe I'm biased, to be clear, chat. Maybe I'm biased because I'm used to what a stream room looks like. So when I was on a stream, I was like, oh, this is like fine. This doesn't feel weird or anything. But maybe that's just because like I'm used to what it feels like to like look at a computer during stream stuff. And maybe that's like a little more off-putting. I think it's fine. I think like honestly, straight up, I don't know how much of it was intentional by Hasan for this interview, but he's giving massive Louis Theroux, and I think it's fine.
The alienation from their city government, right?
That Denims, she was looking at chat. It's just so you guys know, if you ever have the pleasure or displeasure of being on somebody else's stream, you will look at the chat. You will look at, it's impossible to not look at the chat because it's like, I need to know what people are saying. I need to know what people are saying. I need to know. Don't look at me.
Now, people have a loss of faith. And I don't know whether you're seeing that reflected in your experiences with Los Angeles, but
Definitely. I mean, I think there's a lot of issues.
Marge told us to convince him to do an interview podcast. I'm doing my part. To be clear, I do think an interview podcast would also be dope. But I feel like an interview podcast will be better for like casual guests, like bringing on like, but then he already has like Fear and for something like that. So I don't think it's necessary. I think for like political podcasts, maybe, okay, again, I might be overstating this statement because like I like chat and I know not everybody else loves chat. But I feel like there's so many instances where I don't consider a certain perspective and then I realize the perspective because of chat, or like sometimes when I'm talking about something on stream that's maybe controversial, it's interesting to see where people's heads are at, to see how I can try and shift that perspective. And it's like a great barometer for where everybody else is at. So it's nice to have that there, if that makes sense.
Los Angeles city government. Okay, I have a question.
That's not fair. You have a chat that's 1,000 times better than Hasan's chat. Okay, to be fair, yeah, I do select for the funniest chatters. So unfortunately, I think I stole all of the funny Hasan chatters. I do think so. I think if you're a Hasan chatter and you're not in here, it's probably you haven't unlocked a certain level of funny required to be in this chat. You know, you can get there, but you're not there yet.
For you, so we've talked a lot about these initiatives. We talked about corruption, and you talked about a bloated budget in certain instances. You've been critical of Karen Bass and the way that she's used the existing city budget in the past. One of the questions I obviously have is Kenneth May's analysis as well. This was a huge problem where it seems that the police budgets have increased over and over again. And part of that was in an effort to justify.
I think I just realized my dress is inside out. I'm sorry. Can I fix this really fast?
Additional budgets for the police, a police union budget that you've also criticized. Karen Bass actually took away some of the funds from the technicians that were responsible for fixing the fire engines. This led to less fire engines being readily available in the wildfires as well. So there were obviously a lot of criticisms of Karen Bass, some stupid, some silly, and some valid. Do you agree with the assessment that the police budget is ginormous and is eating away at some of these necessary social services, some of the necessary services like even, the lights not being turned on at night in many streets of Los Angeles?
Yeah, I mean, the size of the police budget is driven, people talk about our annual budget, but it's really the size of the police budget is driven by the contract and the size of the contracts that are signed. And the mayor is the lead in negotiating. The council has to approve.
How do you get the answer to the question and then you fumble? So this is like, I feel like when you've done any public speaking, even just like streaming, there's like, you learn that there is a lot of power in a short and sweet yes and no, yes or no. And you should abuse that when you can. Any instance that you can say a clean yes or a clean no, you should always go for that because people love that. The problem is when there's difficult situations and you can't answer those as well. So like, what would be a good position? Actually, the way that Mamdani talks about Israel, where like, do you think Israel has a right to exist? I think Israel has a right to exist as a state with equal rights for all people. That's not something that's as easy to say yes or no to, in which case you craft a really good answer that gives away or doesn't give away the game. What was I saying? Oh yeah, with regard to, I like blanked on the point that I was gonna. Oh yeah, with regard to like a question that's so, when someone is obviously giving you the answer to the question they're asking you, where they're like, some people, a lot of people, almost all people think that this thing that Karen Bass did is bad. What do you think of it? You should obviously just say, absolutely. I mean, listen, every politician's going to fuck up, but unacceptable.
And in 2023, we approved a new contract for LAPD, which I spoke out against, I pushed back against, which gave the PD more money than the city had. And that, along with kind of other knock-on effects, led to $1 billion budget deficit in the city last year. $1 billion. Mm-hmm. We were about to lay off 1,600 workers in response to that budget deficit. We barely avoided those layoffs. And what we did to avoid those layoffs was to cut every single city service down to the bone, every single one. We cut.
God forbid we tax rich people.
Things like pothole repair and graffiti removal and streetlight repair.
By the way, Zohran fixed a $12 billion deficit with no service cuts.
And now we have 30,000 broken streetlights across the city, and the average repair times for a broken streetlight in Los Angeles, the second largest city in the richest country in the world, are a year on average to fix a broken streetlight here. We didn't pave a single mile of street the first
Roly-poly, that's a crazy
6 months of this fiscal year because we just didn't have the money.
But he did it Muslim style. It's like the new like China, but at what cost or whatever.
I think these kinds of issues are hugely problematic for our ability to deliver not just social services, but even just the physical infrastructure and the physical services of the city. And, you know, it is driven by that contract.
Okay.
And so now the city's struggling. We have a really big problem.
So I do have a tough question here for you on the police budget. I'm sure you're ready for it, but around the same time as Black Lives Matter,
I'm pretty sure that this is when the chat had to go on emote only mode.
was taking place and the George Floyd protests were happening in 2020, you openly called for defunding the police. You have since then said that you do not want to defund the police, whatever that might mean. Obviously, for many at the time, there were different attitudes. I want to hear what you meant when you said defund the police.
Yeah.
For me, it means taking away some of the expansive police budgets and reappropriating it to social programs, homelessness initiatives, and the like, and also allowing there to be, you know, crisis managers that go to specific cases like, you know, domestic abuse and instances like that are that don't require immediate armed police response.
He's literally giving her the answer again. This is by the way, this is like a great interview by Hasan. I don't know how people are in chat are mad, not like you guys, but how anyone in chat was mad at Hasan, because it's actually like pretty good. It's softball. I don't know. I think it's one of those, like, again, I think it's very like Louis Theroux style, where it's like him giving her all of the answers to the questions he's asking and her fumbling anyways speaks for itself. Like, I don't even think he needs to needle her on this because she's already like shooting herself in the foot. I think you can't do softball interviews with candidates who lie. So like a softball interview with Tucker Carlson would be really bad because Tucker Carlson actually can weasel out of answering things. So if you don't needle him and if you give him softball questions over and over again, he will make you look like a fucking idiot. But I think it's actually, for this particular candidate, I think this is a great job, actually. I'm not joking.
Called for transforming Los Angeles Police Department into a much smaller specialized force. However, in February 2026, 2 days after the launching of your mayoral campaign, you told NBCLA, we need to maintain the size of our police force. Was it, wokeness rising up everywhere in 2020 that led you to say that? What did you mean by defund the police? And why has your assessment changed since then?
After being in government for the last 5 years plus, I think it is really important to make sure that we are able to respond to calls for help from the public. If we don't answer 911 calls quickly.
No, stop, dude. Stop. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's all defund the police until you get robbed. And then the cops show up and then shoot your dog and say, go fuck yourself. 2 hours later. Oh, yeah. Then who are you going to call, huh? Mm-hmm.
And with the right people showing up when you call, I think we lose the faith of Angelenos, and that really concerns me. Right now.
You were so hopeful a minute ago. No, I heard that it was bad. I wasn't hopeful. I was saying that, I don't think Hasan needs to give her anything other than softball questions because the softball questions are still getting fumbled.
I want to have a very honest conversation about how we deliver that. We don't have an alternative crisis response system built out citywide. I've pushed for increases to that. Mm-hmm. We have actually increased that. I've done that in partnership with other council members, and I'm really excited about that. But what we need is a citywide unarmed crisis response system that I want to build out as mayor and I want to fund as mayor. But we only have that in patchwork pieces, and we absolutely need to be able to respond to calls for help. And right now, LAPD is our only response system. And
oh, okay. So let's just continue bloating the budget because they're the only response system. And that surely hasn't been the strategy that's been used by the police union for decades to say that this is the only strategy, so we have to keep funding them.
Liberal.
And I think that we have to be honest with our constituents and with the public, even when, it means maybe.
So were you being dishonest before when you said defund the police?
Saying different things than you said before about how we actually ensure that we're able to respond to calls for help.
Okay.
I think I as mayor, I have a different vision for how we actually build out that unarmed crisis response system, though. Right now, it's a patchwork. It's only in a few neighborhoods. It doesn't integrate with our 911 system effectively. So if you call for a mental health crisis worker, you can be on hold for 50 minutes. And then it takes even more time for somebody to come out. I don't think that's a crisis response system. You have to have it work with 911. And that is the system that I want to build out. And my dream is for a system of public safety in Los Angeles where when you call for help, someone picks up the phone quickly and the right person shows up when you call. It can be an armed officer when you need one. And then it can
So
be.
what's your strategy for, okay, so let's say, okay, I already think she's fumbled this so hard, but shouldn't you then say what your strategy is for implementing that? Shouldn't you say that then? Maybe she goes over it in a second. I'm just going to say I don't believe that she will, but shouldn't you?
That unarmed crisis response person when you need a mental health responder, homelessness response, whatever it may be, that never requires an armed officer and maybe safer and better if an unarmed person comes up.
Maybe.
So let me just get it out of the way. I'm not a police abolitionist. This is very frustrating for some of my anarchist fans to hear. I believe that, police serve a necessary role. The problem with policing is not the existence of police necessarily. Some unit has to maintain.
It's the complete lack of oversight on the police, the absolute authority in which the police engage in, and the fact that the police union in this country is so strong that their budget is so unbelievably bloated and that they show up to every response, every single response.
Presence of law and order. However, the problem that I have with Los Angeles Police Department and police departments all around the country is that they don't really do their jobs. They don't do their jobs efficiently, or sometimes they don't do their jobs at all. Or when they're doing their jobs, they do it in a very violent manner. Obviously, the LA Sheriff's Department has a litany of other complications. The question for you is, and this is an obvious problem for Zohran as well, has been plaguing Zohran's mayoral administration. How do you plan to, at times, hold the police accountable, make the police force a more efficient force that actually serves the interests of all Los Angelinos and not just, I don't know whose interest they're serving currently, but serving their own personal interest?
Yeah, I think I would agree with some of the critiques that you have of LAPD, and I think accountability and responsiveness are really important. And I think that starts with leadership. I think it is embodied in who you pick for the police chief. And, I would be appointing a very different kind of chief who understood how important it was for LAPD to be responsive to the needs of immigrants in LA, who understood how important these issues related to accountability and transparency are. I don't think we have that in our current police.
What if I picked the bestest police officer to lead the police? What if I found a really good one? Dude.
Chief, and that's one way in which I think you change how those exact questions that you asked about are answered in Los Angeles. There's also a police commission in place, and the mayor's appointees actually form that police commission. And I would want to pick individuals there who are driving forward towards those exact goals that you talked about, towards greater accountability, towards greater responsiveness, making sure that the needs of Angelinos are being addressed by our armed police response when needed. And I think that's really what I would be doing. These are the tools that are available to the mayor that we don't have as council members, and that I would want to use for those goals.
So, for the record, in 2025, I've had altercations with Los Angeles Police Department, including them shooting rubber bullets at me when we were at the ICE protests. You voted in favor of a $5 million loan to pay those police officers overtime. What was the decision making there? Is this just the cost of doing business? Is this just politics?
Well,
is this something that you stand by?
Well, when people work overtime, the city has to pay them. They had already worked that overtime. When people work that overtime, they're due their paychecks from the city.
Oh, they're due their paychecks. Dude, you don't understand. Listen, those Nazi soldiers in Germany, they were working overtime, grabbing Jewish people off the street. So like they deserve overtime pay for their work. Oh, so you're a leftist until it's about valuing the labor of police officers shooting rubber bullets at innocent civilians. Okay? What the fuck? Dude, this is so shit. Oh, it's so shit.
City. And when they don't get paid, they sue the city. And then we end up paying them not just their overtime, but also the cost of the lawsuit. So, I'm not making decisions about overtime. I don't make decisions about deployment. But once that is happening, once people have already worked their jobs, that's part of the contract that all city employees sign with the city, which is that if you are asked to do a job, you get paid for it. And if you don't, you get to sue the city to make sure that you're paid. So that was just a very practical response.
Oh, it was practical. Practical. Guys, it was practical.
To the situation, like I said, the biggest impacts for the LAPD budget, the graphs that Kenneth Mejia is Controller Mejia is putting out, have to do with the size of the contracts. And I think, when we talk about how we actually impact these issues, I think thinking about that contract process, thinking about how you actually have a real debate about what you need to maintain.
Oh, guys, we're going to be thinking about it, and we're going to be having a real debate about it. Not like actually changing anything. What are you, fucking crazy?
Size of the force that we need for Los Angeles versus how much money we actually have to spend on police versus everything else that we need to pay for. That's the conversation. That's a place for that conversation.
Let me ask you straight up. Do you think that it's the head count that is a problem? Because that's what Karen Bass claims. And I think Spencer Pratt claims that as well. And that there needs to be more law enforcement officers that we hire? Or do you think the real problem is that we're not utilizing the existing massive behemoth of a Los Angeles police force that we currently have appropriately to efficiently, engage in response?
I think deployment is a huge issue that we don't have a lot of good answers to. There was a study conducted last year from RAND that the police department actually commissioned that talks about exactly this question and found that many officers who are supposed to be deployed out in the field are actually doing secretarial or administrative work, even within our existing police force. So they talk about the fact that we don't have enough police officers, but they're not deploying all of our police officers in the way that the police chief wants them to be deployed. That's challenging. I think we really do need to think about deployment, how we're sending people out, where we're sending people out to, and how we're ensuring that deployment is generating the greatest.
Guys, I can't tell what's worse, watching Ethan Klein's broadcast or watching this. This is so. Does she think that the position is popular? Does she think that people love cops or something? I don't understand. I don't understand.
Safety. Here's the other thing that I really want to underscore. A lot of calls that police officers are answering right now don't need to be responded to with armed officers.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't invest in our alternative response systems, we will never be able to take that call load off of LAPD and actually manage deployment better for where armed officers are actually needed. This is why a citywide unarmed response system is so important. This is why we need to have it not just in a couple of different neighborhoods, but really across the entire city. And this is why it has to be integrated with our 911 response, not a system through which you're waiting an hour plus for someone to come out.
Yeah. I agree with you for sure. So you're saying that you're in favor of maintaining the current head count, but also lifting some of the burden, the workload that cops are currently engaging in an effort to make them a more efficient force that can deal with, solving crimes and things like that.
Yeah, you need to be able to investigate. You need to be able to solve crimes. You need to be able to address, rings that are doing a lot of the bad things that we're dealing with.
All right. Let's get to ICE a little bit.
So what about the cops that are doing the bad things? What do we do about them? So what about the cop gangs is my question.
We got to talk about that. Trump deployed 700 Marines to our city. Federal agents in unmarked vehicles arrested and disappeared over 10,000 Los Angelinos last summer, including U.S. citizens holding people in basement cells in the Royal Federal Building. You called the raids cruel and unconstitutional. As mayor, will you commit to refusing any LAPD cooperation with ICE for any reason and to even prosecuting agents who break state law? And do you believe ICE should be abolished?
I do believe ICE should be abolished.
Oh?
Absolutely. And I would absolutely commit to no cooperation with ICE between LAPD, not just LAPD, any city department, any city database. None of that should happen. Sharing information with federal law enforcement just simply
it's easy for me to say this right now because if I was conducting the interview, maybe I wouldn't have the foresight to say it. But I do feel like a good question to ask right now would be, okay, but you went back on defunding the police. How do people know that you won't go back on abolishing ICE?
Not happen. Federal immigration enforcement. I'm proud to have been one of the co-authors of the Sanctuary City Ordinance here in the city of Los Angeles because I believe this so strongly. I am an immigrant to America myself. I'm a naturalized citizen.
Mm-hmm.
And so this issue is really personal to me. It's really personal. It is something that I think strikes at the heart of what this city is. This is a city of immigrants. And we have to be fighting and really demonstrating to our residents that we stand up for them and that LAPD shouldn't even be appearing to cooperate with ICE. I think that, again, it really undermines trust in the city. And I think it's bad for LA if that's the case. We really have to be much more forceful about this.
What are some immediate provisions you have in mind that could potentially address the friction between ICE and local law enforcement, or even create necessary friction. I suggested to Jacob Fry was, I mean, it's a pie in the sky idea, but the potential ticketing of ICE cars, if necessary, because they do love parking illegally regardless. Is there any such enforcement that you have in mind, like the violation of mask bans, for example?
Yeah, I think making sure that when there are city or state regulations that are trying to protect Angelenos, including the state mask ban, which is right now, by the way, the courts deemed it unconscionable.
Why do people feel like Ray's run is over? It is really low polling. I blame DSALA. They endorsed Nithya over her. Yeah. Dude, watching these interviews are just depressing. Depressing because it's like, dude, come on, you could do so much more.
Constitutional, and now the state is working on a new one. Our chief of police said that he wouldn't enforce it. I think we have to enforce laws that are in place to protect Angelenos. The state and the city are working towards putting those in place so that we have more of these protections. We absolutely should be enforcing them. That may look different from what, from things that might be dangerous. So, for example, on the mask ban, our city attorney may need to play a more important role because that kind of violation is a misdemeanor. And the city attorney can actually go out and prosecute people for not following those rules and regulations. We can actually make sure that we're stepping up and prosecuting actively when federal law enforcement is not following local regulations. And I think that's what the city needs to be thinking about much more. But I also want to say that in the response to ICE locally here, community groups often took the lead. And I would really like to see a much more robust organizing backbone from the city and from the mayor's office. Across Los Angeles, we've seen differential impacts of ICE raids, which are still continuing. Lots of activity and money coming into certain places, donations, all of that. And in other places, lots of raids with not a lot of support. I think the mayor's office should act as kind of that backbone for response and make sure that resources are being directed where they're needed. Make sure that we're doing active know your rights trainings in multiple languages. This is a city that has an incredible diversity of people. We have to be able to go out there and talk to all of them and make sure that they have the tools they need to stay safe. And that can and should be anchored in a mayor's office.
How do you say so much and not talk about anything that you're going to actually do? So far, though, it feels like the entire interview has been like, you know what? Let's go look at her. Let's go look at her campaigns. Let's see her campaign ads. This one has the most views. Let's see this.
LA has the most powerful city council in the country. They oversee housing, homelessness, police, traffic, energy, a $10 billion budget, and so much more. They work behind closed doors, they make deals with special interests, and they've sold the city out from under us.
What could we have instead?
Rent forgiveness. A guaranteed lawyer if you're facing eviction.
Community access centers for homeless services.
Clean elections. Public broadband.
A real Green New Deal that creates good union jobs.
Taking money out of criminalization and putting it into care.
City Council could do it all, but they've chosen not to.
Just by running, Nithya Raman's campaign has pushed LA towards some of its most progressive policies ever.
Well, this is like this is from like years ago. This isn't her mayoral race. Wait, where are the videos from like, oh, she doesn't have any on this channel. I've gotten her fucking campaign ads scrolling through Instagram Reels. Can I get any of them on YouTube?
has stood actively in the way of housing, and I want to get it out of the way, and I want to make this into a city of opportunity again. I want to build a system of public safety that ensures that when you call 911, someone picks up the phone and the right person shows up when you call, whether it's an armed officer that comes quickly or whether it's an unarmed crisis responder who can help you with the situation that you're facing. I want to build and maintain and expand our park system. I want to build a protected bikeway from the valley to the center of the city. I want to open up 100 community school parks where LAUSD schools throw open their gates on weekends. And in one of the most park-poor cities in America, I want to make it so that every family and every child can walk to a green space near their home. We can have that. We can have that if we imagine it and if we fight for it.
Just get it off my screen, dude. No, by the way, not a single one of those things was concrete. It was like maybe some bike lanes. What I want is for some greens. That would be cool. That would be cool. We can't make concrete promises. We can't do that. No. There's a lot of I want, we need, I hope, but no, I will do X. There isn't like, I will, within my first 100 days, ensure like 5 or 10 or 30 miles, 50 miles of safe bike lanes. There's just, we have the concept of a sidewalk. Excuse you, Denims. She said sidewalk, so that is concrete. Dumbass, idiot, moron, stupid. So bad. So bad. So bad, dude. Denims, I feel like you're trying way too hard to be a hater. No, I am being a hater because in the wake of Mamdani, how do you not spend as much of your time and energy working on your public speaking to the point where you can motivate and move people the way that Mamdani has? Pre-Mamdani, it's like, damn, you just got to try stuff and then figure out what works. Post-Mamdani, that's it. The formula is there. The formula is there. Run that shit thoroughly, fully, completely. That's it. I just want more out of my Democrats. I just want more. I want her to say, I want Democrats with their full chest to say, I am going after shitty landlords in this city. If you have a problem, I will help you. We will solve the housing crisis in this state, in this city, rather. Excuse me. Like, I want that. I want that. We know it works. Do that. Anyways, I don't know. She talks exactly like Brad Lander. I would compare her to Brad Lander, where like I don't think that she would be bad for LA. You know, like I don't think she would destroy LA. I'm sure that she actually, seemingly from her track record, helps out a lot of tenants and has built up tenant protections, to be very clear. But like, I just want more. I want more. You know, if you're going to take the plunge, full send it, man. Full fucking send it.
That sees this at the core of their function.
All right. We're going to get back to housing. And I have some more questions for you on that front. Voters passed the mansion tax, which you said you were in favor of, to fund affordable housing and tenant defense. In January 2026.
Yes, this is honestly low curcuminally. Okay, what next? You know who never stops demanding? The wealthy. No, but like actually. Like I feel like the richest people in this country fight like crazy to steal just like a couple more pennies out of your fucking dollar. Why can't we fight like that? I'm sorry, our enemies are ontologically evil landlords. You can go all in. You can full send it. You can talk about how much you fucking hate landlords, and it would make you a more likable candidate. Like that. Can you imagine if instead of talking about housing the way that she's talking about it in a very traditional, classical, like, Democrat way, she was like, and that's it. We're not going to allow landlords to be destroying people's lives anymore in this city. Like, what? Just go. Just full send it. Just full send it. I just want more. And I want candidates to know that they can full send it. And they would get more support if they full sended it. This is like... Guys. This is the city we're talking about, guys. This is the city we're talking about. We can be a little bit more brazen. Okay? We can be a little bit more brazen. We can have a few more balls as a treat. Okay? This is the same city. This is the city she's running in. Send it! Full send it! Send it! Be more extreme and be specific. Like, tell us what policies you're going to fund, how much tax on billionaires, how you're going to make us more like China. No, but actually. And instead, it's like, maybe we can have more bike lanes. Maybe. Perhaps. It's like, come on, dude. Come on.
You move to carve out a 15-year exemption for developers. United to House LA called that a boogeyman for tax breaks for developers. Are tenant organizers wrong, or are you giving developers what they want under the YIMBY label?
Well, you know, I actually think that what I was trying to do was measure the mansion tax. I think it's really, really...
Did you cover the Waymo breeding season? Oh. What?
Really important to have that money in place. Mm-hmm. And the mansion tax is facing some very real threats. There is efforts in Sacramento to put an elimination of the mansion tax, of transfer taxes entirely on the ballot. It's now on the ballot. And we're going to have to spend a lot of money to ensure that that measure doesn't pass. And the biggest driver for that measure being on the ballot was LA's mansion tax and opposition to it. I thought carving out this 15-year exemption for new multifamily housing would actually make it so that the state level initiative wouldn't have gotten on the ballot. It got a lot of funding from people who are frustrated that the city wasn't taking action on these issues. That being said, I also do think that we need to be building a lot more housing. The city and the state and the federal government are funding public housing, social housing, all of affordable housing. We're building to our fullest. We're building every year here in LA, a few hundred units. That is not enough. We need more housing to make sure that working class people can stay here. We need more housing to make sure that young people can come here and see this as a city of opportunity. We absolutely need more housing. We have to make sure that the market is building what we need, whether it is housing for families, whether it is lower cost housing, not just $5,000.
By the way, this would be a great opportunity to talk about zoning. Because, like, okay, zoning is a problem everywhere in the United States, but zoning is less so a problem in New York City. Zoning is particularly a problem in LA. And zoning laws in LA have made the city very dog shit, for lack of better words. This is a great opportunity to talk about the fact that there's such a lack of mixed zoning. And we could take advantage of the fact that, like, LA is huge. There's enough space to build more mixed housing. But instead, we have all this fucking dog shit zoning that doesn't allow us to do that. Like, you could have a great conversation. I don't know. I'm just...
dollar studios, and we can generate planning laws that do that. But I will never back away from the statement that we need more market rate housing as well, because the city simply cannot fund all of the housing that is needed.
All right. You're an urban planner. We have some big events right around the corner.
Yeah.
Measure HLA, Healthy Streets Los Angeles, was passed in March 2024, but only saw 400 feet of compliant bike lanes built in the year that followed. We've also lost over 260 of our neighbors in traffic crashes since HLA took effect. You authored the Transit Signal Priority Motion. You supported the Mobility Plan 2035, and were one of the only 6 council members to endorse the Healthy Streets Los Angeles initiative measure. As mayor, what happens to LA Dot leadership and the council colleagues who spent a decade slow walking the transit network Los Angelinos have already voted for and also paid for? And this extends to virtually every other ballot initiative and measure, because as we all know, people in Los Angeles and even in the state of California broadly will vote for the most advanced, most progressive ballot measures. And then, unfortunately, city government and state government fucking stops it dead in its tracks for decades until people say, what the fuck happened? How do you fix that?
Yeah, well, I really believe in better transit. I really believe in making sure that people have an alternative to their cars. And by the way, this isn't...
Okay, so this kind of goes back to what I just keep kind of reiterating, which is like, okay, we know you believe in that stuff, and we know that, like, you think we should have those things, and we want them, but, like, can we make some concrete promises? If you don't have enough confidence in yourself and your policies to make any concrete statements, why should anyone else have confidence in you?
This is a economic justice issue too. We shouldn't have a city where you have to also have a car in order to get around. I think it's totally possible to build out a public transit infrastructure and a walkable, bikeable infrastructure that allows people to have options, that doesn't force people to buy a car in order to just get to their jobs. But we're not doing that right now. And a big reason is because our departments are not delivering on these outcomes for people.
So what are you going to do?
I have a pretty clear sense of how we can change that.
Okay.
We need to do better coordination. It isn't just the Department of Transportation that's responsible for delivering these outcomes. It's the Bureau of Street Services. It's the people who build our sidewalks. It's the people who build, who plant our street trees and maintain those. We have to be able to, in order to deliver on the big, ambitious goals of HLA, ensure that all of these departments are working together in a cost-effective way, such that we can actually build out the mobility network of our dreams. And I'm pushing for exactly that kind of leadership across these.
You're just missing the how with facts backing it up. Zohran does this great. He backs up his policy with facts and stats. Like,
departments and changes in our processes that will ensure that we're building that transit infrastructure. There's also ways that we can invest in transit infrastructure that are not crazily expensive, that won't break the bank, that can actually generate much safer streets. So, for example, in neighborhoods, you can put in very low-cost interventions like bollards and roundabouts within neighborhoods to create a neighborhood network of calm streets, not on your arterials, but inside a neighborhood where the traffic is slower, where it's safer for families to walk, where it's safer for kids to bike. Like, that's the vision that I have for Los Angeles, and we can build that out.
Your vision is putting cheap roundabouts? I actually get really annoyed when I see those stupid because the roundabouts in LA are so fucking dumb. I'm not gonna lie. They're so dog shit, they piss me off. and it's so obviously like an afterthought that doesn't do anything. It'll be like, for anyone who's not seen them, it's still a 4-way stop sign. There's just this stupid thing in the middle. Let me, if I can make a drawing, it'll be like, okay, so here's the intersection. It's a 4-way stop sign. Okay. Here's the little stop. And obviously it was built originally to be a 4-way stop sign. Okay. And then they just put this tiny cone in the middle. It's like, you guys didn't do anything. It's still a 4-way stop sign. What's the point of putting this stupid thing in the middle? Why did you put a cone here and pretend like it made it a roundabout? Hello? This fundamentally did nothing. You just spent money putting some plastic in my road. My work here is done. It's like, okay. I actually hate seeing those. Let me see if I can find a good picture of one. They make me mad. They like, as a roundabout enjoyer, they actually piss me off. Because like, let me see if I can find like a good image. Maybe no one's photographed this before in LA. Everyone's thought it's so offensive they didn't want to take a picture of it, I guess. Yeah, literally, I can't even find. Maybe somebody else can find a photo or something. I can try looking a little harder and see if I can find one. Up Mills End Park here in Portland. Old Street Roundabout. No, this is like an actual roundabout. At least it pretends to be an actual roundabout, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like... you know what? I will press play and then I'll see if I can find this image so you guys can see it. Oh, this is a great example. Actually, I found one. It'll look like this. Oh my God. It makes me... I found one. Look, guys, we did it. We made a roundabout. Are you fucking kidding me? You just wasted money building whatever the fuck that is. Is that a kiddie pool? I don't know. I think it's supposed to be like painted blue and it's got some cones. Literally a waste of fucking money. This is now less helpful. You just put something in the middle of the road. You just made it more annoying if you're making a left turn. Because now, if you're making a left turn, you have to like go around and then get in the way of the other fucking cars. Like, you literally just made a stop sign, which already fucking sucks, into a dog shit stop sign. It makes me so mad when I see these. Also, you gotta love the fact that it's fucking LA, so of course people started doing donuts around the fucking the roundabout. And you can see the fucking donut lines. It's like, congrats guys, you brought the people entertainment, I guess. Every time I run into these in LA, I get really mad. Her saying, I want more of these is like, I actually just got viscerally angry. I actually just got like viscerally mad. And this is why I was like, I need to find an image to explain it to you guys. Because it doesn't do it justice to describe it. Because you're like, whatever you're imagining, you're not imagining it correctly. whatever you think I was saying isn't correct. And she's an urban planner. So it's just a stop sign with an obstacle. I think the point is supposed to be that, like, basically cars won't ignore the stop sign. But the other thing is, people still ignore the stop sign. They just keep going. You just move to the right a little bit. Wait, Nithya did this? No. She was talking about how there are, like, cheap alternatives to, like, there are cheap things you can do it with infrastructure. And I was talking about how adding a little fucking cone in the middle of a stop sign or a stop sign intersection doesn't actually make it fucking better. What are you talking about? You don't stop on roundabouts? What the fuck are you talking about, dude? You sound like you're lost. You've sounded like you're lost for the last, like, 40 messages, dog. All right.
Like, traffic is slower, but inside a neighborhood where the traffic is slower, where it's safer for families to walk, where it's safer for kids to bike. Like, that's the vision that I have for Los Angeles, and we can build that out with relatively low-cost interventions, and we should be doing that. I think that's what a lot of families in LA want.
What's your vision?
Wait, she said it earlier.
Neighborhood network of roundabouts within neighborhoods to create a neighborhood network of calm streets, not on your arterials, but inside a neighborhood where the traffic is slower, where it's safer for families to walk.
Like, the problem is that building a roundabout on top of an existing street, if you're talking about, like, well, we're trying to find relatively low cost things we can do, what that ends up looking like is this. If you're already at the point of, let's spend as little money as possible to make it a little bit better, this is what you end up with. Because actually building, like, proper infrastructure on a street like this would require you to do more than just smack down some trash in the middle. I have, like, so many tabs open. Let me close some of this trash. Well, some of this isn't trash, but let me just close some of these.
Where it's safer for kids to bike. Like, that's the vision that I have for Los Angeles, and we can build that out with relatively low-cost interventions, and we should be doing that. I think that's what a lot of families in LA want.
What's your vision for a more robust public transit that's readily available? I know you've talked about buses quite a bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have somewhat of a metro system, but it's, the problem with Los Angeles public transportation is that it's unreliable, and you can't have a public transportation system that's unreliable. Buses don't come on time.
Yeah.
And the routes don't go to every different part of the city.
Yeah.
What's your plan to address that? Or is there even a plan to build out a more robust public transit system?
Yeah. So our public transit system is largely controlled by Metro, which is a regional entity. The mayor has 4 appointees on Metro, the mayor's seat and 3 other people. And I want to use our Metro contingent to push for speedy completion of the projects, the big transit investments that are going to be the most transformative for the city of Los Angeles, to ensure that we have the connectivity and the big investments that can actually transform our capacity to get around LA using transit. So that will include the Sepulveda Transit Corridor, which can help get us off of the 405, which can get us from the Valley to the West Side in less than 15 minutes. It's absolutely incredible. We have to be pushing for these kinds of big transit investments to be built. That means making sure that we have a plan for investment. That means making sure that we are pushing as a delegation to prioritize these projects and not letting other lower ridership projects take precedence. And I'm really excited about doing.
I'm going to tell you right now, the problem, having lived in New York City and now living in LA, the problem is that public transportation in LA is not seen as completely comprehensive, and so nobody wants to take it because nobody wants to be caught in an area of LA where there is no public transport, and then you have to take a $50 Uber to go like 1 mile. That's the problem. So like, if I can, what's the best way to like show this? This is the problem that I experience. So let's say this is like, this is LA, the water on the left here. Here's the valley. Here's like downtown, Santa Monica or whatever, Glendale or whatever. The problem is that like, if you're in one of these zones, and then you can go further down to like Orange County or whatever. If you're in one of these zones, first of all, sometimes there isn't even good transportation between the zones. Between like here and here, or like here and here. Right? And you can compare it to like New York City, where the transportation between the 5 boroughs is very clear and obvious. And it's very comprehensive. Yeah, sure. Let's pull up the classic map. Where if you're in one of the 5 boroughs, so for anyone who doesn't know New York zones, up here is Bronx. I mean, it says it here. The north one is the Bronx, Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn, and then here's Staten Island. And if you're in one of these 5 boroughs, getting to one of the other boroughs is not that hard. Oh, you're in Brooklyn? Oh, great. Just take any of these lines, depending on where in Brooklyn you are, and you can be in one of the other boroughs. And then above ground, and also underground, there's a bunch of trains to get you and buses to get you in between the areas. So once you're in Manhattan, there's a million different trains to take you to different parts of Manhattan. And there's a bunch of buses to take you to different parts of Manhattan. You go from Brooklyn to Queens, guess what? There's a bunch of trains and buses to take you around Queens, wherever you need to go. The G train is the only cross-borough train from one outlet borough to the next. Bro, what the fuck? That's not the point that I'm making. The point that I'm making is that it's easy to get from one borough to another borough. Huh? That if I live in Queens and I want to get to the Bronx, I can just take one train, and then I guess you would have to transfer. Like, let's say you're taking the 7 line from Flushing, and then you would transfer to, what is that, the 1? I forget if this is, no, the 1, yeah, this is the ace, and then this is 1, 2, 3, I think. So it's not that, it's very simple, very straightforward. Or even if you're going from like Queens to Brooklyn, you could just take the Q line all the way. You could just literally just get on, or not Q, they changed the Q, so now it goes north. The N line. You can just take the N all the way to Brooklyn. You can just sit on it, relax, take out your Switch, read a book, and then after like 30, 40, 50 minutes, depending on how deep into Brooklyn you're going, you'll be there. It's fucking dope. It's great. Q train is not real. Well, the Q train has gotten a lot of different changes over the years. It used to be the express line, and they changed it so that it goes to the Upper East Side. At one point, it was discontinued for a little bit. They brought it back. It's been through a lot of changes over the years. There are huge dead zones. Yeah, and in the dead zones, there are buses. The place that, I will say, the one area of the boroughs that has the most dead zones is like Deep Queens. If you live in Deep Queens, like past Whitestone, you're kind of fucked. But in most areas, in the most populated areas of New York City, there are enough buses that take you to the train stations. In LA, there are like, everywhere is a fucking dead zone. Oh, great. You took like the one line that can get you to X area. Guess what? There's no buses that take you anywhere else there. Congrats. It's like, okay. And the other thing I will say as well is that like the public transportation system is not like, and some of this is like personal bias, but there is no effort to make the public transport system in LA more readily and widely accessible to the people that live in LA. Hour plus when I went from the Bronx on the 6th, started transferring on the 7 or the N, it took an hour and a half each time. Well, I guess it depends on how deep in the Bronx you were, is the question. That would be the question. Because like when I took trains from Queens to Brooklyn, if I was only going to like Red Hook, it'd be like 40 minutes. If I wanted to go to Coney Island Beach, it would be like, or Coney Island, whatever, it would be like an hour and like 20 minutes. It depends on how deep you're getting in there. But anyways, I wish I could commission someone to make an LA city guide that's basically specifically on places the metro or light rail can take you, because you're right. We pretend the metro in LA is just for people who don't know better. Yeah, and like, so this is the point that I'm making, where it's like currently it doesn't feel like LA Transit doesn't feel accessible. It feels like you have to complete like 17 side quests before you're even allowed to start engaging with the transit system. And because it feels convoluted and it doesn't feel useful and there's so many dead zones, it's like, well, I don't even want to bother because God forbid you get stuck in like one of the dead zones. I don't want to pay for a fucking $40 Uber. So that's what I wanted to share with all of you. Buses in Queens suck because you need multiple bus transfers before you can even get to a train. Huh? Where did you live in Queens? What are you talking about? Huh? Did you live in Whitestone? Because then, yeah. But that's like way out here for people who don't know. That's like way out here. No, I disagree. Mm-mm. Okay, moving on though. All right. Oh God. I want to press play. Oh. LA is way bigger than New York in terms of landmass, and it doesn't even have half the bus/train lines of New York City. Yes, also correct. But the reality is, like, other countries have been able to manage comprehensive train lines and comprehensive public transport with even more land. Why can't we do it?
That we have underutilized our role on Metro to get what we need for Los Angeles over the last few years. And I want to change that.
Also, the other thing too about like New York City Transit is that most of the time New York City Transit will be the same amount of time as taking a driving, if not less time, depending on where you're going. In LA, the transit is always more time. Public transport is always more time, which is so shit. It's like, but it should be faster because you don't have to deal with all the traffic. And there are dedicated lanes. Like, how could it be more time?
I want to be a leader at Metro again, and I want to deliver a system of transit that really works for us in LA.
Stretch?
But can I talk about one other thing, which is, I think, bus transit is really important. These big train projects are fun. They are exciting. They're important. But most people who take transit actually take the bus. And I think making sure that buses are more frequent and making that a priority for Metro, fighting for that as a priority for Metro is something that I think is really important for us to be doing. I'm also really proud to say that for the first time, because of something that I led on City Council, the Raise LA program.
I've heard Denims from other people that they think Apple Maps intentionally makes the time seem longer to discourage public transport use, which I have to say is accurate in my experience. Oh, I'm just talking about friends of mine who like actually commute to work. And they've told me that sometimes they'll drive when they're already running late, but they try to take the public transport because driving fucking sucks. And they've told me explicitly that the public transport, it'll take them an hour and a half to get to work. And if they drove, it would take them 40 minutes. So on the days that they drive, it's 40 minutes. On the days that they don't drive, it's an hour and a half. It's like, dude, the public transport should not be double the time. Double the time.
We're actually building out bus shelters across the city. Have you seen those new kind of pale green bus shelters?
I have not.
Yeah, well, they're all over LA. We're building hundreds of them now, and in the future we'll be building thousands. And that effort came about because we took the advertising revenue from.
You know, it might actually be like, so I feel like Mamdani had a really good shift from assemblyman into like a mayoral candidate, where he was able to shift from like the we to the I. And I don't feel like Nithya's done a good enough job. I feel like her team hasn't prepped her. I do think a big part, and I give a lot of credit to Mamdani's team, he absolutely had to have hired like incredible people, but he also he had a great team that was able to put together great work. Like obviously he didn't record and edit every single video on his own. He didn't have every single idea on his own. A big part of that was his media team. And going from city council, where it is a very like all of us are working together and we are all doing this, switching it over to mayor, where you're like, I am making concrete promises. That's like a pretty difficult transition. And it does feel like her team just like didn't prepare her for that transition over. She's still in assembly mode and not like, I'm going to be mayor mode. Yeah. And it's like frustrating. Human beings love people with big visions. Her visions are just so small. Well, I mean, that's why people like, so it does feel like traditional Democrats, like liberal Democrats, establishment Democrats, they saw Trump be popular and they were like, oh, it's because he's a conservative. It's like, no, it's because he made big promises and he addressed problems. He's not going to actually fucking follow through with any of that shit, but he spoke bigly, and you have to speak bigly. Often I can judge how long it takes me to ride my bike somewhere is roughly equivalent to how long it'll take the train. And like some part of that is absolutely like frequency. Like I will tell you guys, as a New York enjoyer, and I'm not saying like New York has like the best public transportation. Like New York's transportation is just the best in the United States. It is not the best by like a long shot anywhere else in the world. Compared to any other country that is even remotely close to as rich as we are, it's pretty sad and pathetic. But compared to the rest of the United States, it's really good. It's really good. If you live in one of the 5 boroughs, there's a bus or a train within like a 3 to 5 minute walk from you. It's fucking dope. And they basically all transfer to each other really, really easily. Even in areas that I didn't live in New York, that I just like went to on occasion, it's really good. Although I guess I can't comment on Staten Island, but like only 3 people live there, so like it's fine. It's sad because the rest of the country could benefit from just like that as like a baseline. But we don't even bother trying to achieve that. Like one of the major things that makes New York City transportation really nice is that, first of all, the trains and the buses run almost 24 hours. And in prime time, so like I would say from 5 a.m. to maybe it's 6 a.m. COVID made things weird. Till like 7 or 8 p.m. The buses in my area were like every 5 minutes, max 10 minutes. And sometimes at like prime time, so like 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and like 4, 5, 6 p.m., it was like every 3 minutes there were buses. So you were never waiting long. Unless it's like, it's again, at 2 a.m., you're waiting like 30 minutes for the train or 30 minutes for the bus. Because there's just not that many people taking it at that time. They still run. It takes a while. You have to wait a while. But like, at like peak rush hour, it's every 2, 3, 4 minutes. The trains are there. There's a train in the station. There's a bus in the station, wherever you are. And it's amazing. It's like, it's actually fucking amazing. In other states that I've been in, it'll be like rush hour and it's like, oh, you missed that bus? Sorry, there won't be another bus for 45 minutes. It's like, but it's 8 a.m. What do you mean? What do you mean there aren't more buses? What the fuck? Oh, you missed the one bus that came here at this specific time. Guess you're just not going to be there for work for another hour. It's like crazy. It's like crazy. And the bus will be for sure late. My friend lives in a good-sized city. She had to take the bus to get to work an hour early because if she took the bus closer to her shift time, she'd be 4 minutes late to her shift, and they only run once an hour after a certain time. It's actually dog shit. It's so dog shit. And again, in New York, they have to meet demand because like during peak rush hour, maybe other people who've been in New York or people who've lived in New York know. When I was coming home from school or work, it's like 6 p.m. and the station is packed and the train is packed. And I'm like, I'll wait for the next one. And like literally Not 2 minutes later, the next one is here. And that one gets packed too. I'm like, you know what? I could just wait for the next one. And then you wait another 2-3 minutes and you're like, okay, I'll get in this one. This one's not that bad. And you just like, in other states, in other cities, oh, you didn't get to that train in time? Yeah, that'll be an hour wait for the next one. It's like, but it's 5 p.m. Everyone's going home from work. There should be like 17 buses that are showing up. What the fuck? Sometimes it's great because like they have so many buses and trains running and people keep stalling them that sometimes 2 of the exact same bus, like the exact same bus line, will show up at the exact same time because the second bus that's supposed to be 2 minutes behind it has caught up. So like the driver will literally say, don't get on, nobody get on this bus. This is just to get people out of the bus. The other bus is literally right there. No one is allowed to get on this bus. No. Next one. And then they fuck off. And it's like, and then it's literally you wait 20 seconds and then the next bus gets there. Because again, there's just so much transportation you don't need. I don't know. There's another bus directly behind this one. The worst is when the worst / best is when the train conductor says, please do not hold the door open. There is another train directly behind this one. You are slowing everyone down. Please, the next bus, the next train is directly behind this one. Do not hold the doors open. There's always one asshole that holds the doors open. It's like, it's not that serious, go. It's not that serious. You don't need to get into that train. Anyways.
Those bus shelters and put them right back into building more bus shelters. And so now with a steady revenue source.
Every time a conductor in Chicago says there's a train behind them, they lie. In my experience, the New York conductors never lie. In my experience, the train conductors, I don't know if it's just like a New York thing. If there is no train behind, they say, stop holding the doors open. They just say that.
First, we're actually building out transit infrastructure, including shaded bus shelters that are going to make getting around on transit so much better for people. And I'm really proud of that work.
Okay, hell yeah. Well, this also ties into what I'm about to talk about. One of the things that you would be overseeing as mayor in 2028 would be the Olympics. The man in charge of organizing the event, Casey Wasserman, recently sold off his talent agency due to his...
Yeah, it's just like the ideas are just not big enough, I think. Like, we're going to have shade at the bus station. I mean, okay. I want that, yeah. But like, we can't do more than that. Come on. No.
Connections with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. He had sent gross, flirty emails to Ghislaine. A few months ago, he was...
Sorry, I am being really harsh. I am being really, really harsh. I just... Like I said earlier, I think like pre-Mamdani, I was definitely willing to be a lot more like lax with Democrats, especially like congressmen, because it's you know, you're one in like 100, right? Senators. You're just like one more person in a crowd of Congress people. But like as a mayor, and then especially after seeing Mamdani's campaign so effectively run, it's like, why are we not taking notes from this? Like, why are we not learning from this? Like, we could do so much more. And we should. Like, he raised the bar and he showed everyone how to do it, and people still don't want to.
Meeting with wanted war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu. You've called for...
He's doing it Muslimly. He's doing it Sharia-ly.
Casey Wasserman's... you call for Casey
I understand your
Wasserman's,
point. She's not aggressive enough. I'm still voting for her. I mean, I don't think that any of this is like reason to not necessarily vote for her. It's just frustrating for me because I'm like, I want more. Which I think is a good... This is my personal opinion. I think we would have better candidates if everybody demanded more. and criticized more. But
resignation, but then you proceeded to say you'd work with him every day once the board kept him. How do you envision working with someone every day like Casey Wasserman? And do you view this as capitulation, or is there any other alternative here?
I mean, the reality is that the Olympics are happening and that the LA 28 board has the power to pick their leadership. If I were mayor, my goal would be to make sure that the Olympics are being executed in a way that benefits Angelenos and doesn't harm them, and that we have the best possible event that we can have. And I will do whatever it takes to do that. That is what you have to do when you're in leadership. You don't always get to pick your partners. You don't always get to pick who you're working with. You have to do what it takes to deliver for the residents of Los Angeles. That's what I want to do.
Okay.
Execute. Gulpa.
Okay. As far as the Olympics taking place, is there an opportunity here to justify additional expenditure on a more robust public transit network, given that traffic density will be completely out of control and it's virtually impossible to pack people into small areas like where events are taking place? The only reason why this kind of problem doesn't exist in even places like New York is because of adequate public transit.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an opportunity there to justify additional budgets for Metro and also specifically for bus lanes as well?
Well, that was, I think we can definitely invest in getting around, especially allowing for buses to get around through dedicated bus lanes during the period of the Olympics. And I think there's an opportunity to ensure that the investment that we're doing for the Olympics is actually, if when appropriate, being preserved for the long term. So it's not just an investment that we're not wasting, but using and then, taking away, that we're actually building permanent infrastructure that can last for the city of Los Angeles afterwards. That would be a very exciting thing to think about as part of our investment process. But, I will say that the reason why we have had money for things like the D-line expansion, why we have some money for things like this public transit corridor, is because we, as a region, passed Measure M, which was supposed to build a bunch of projects, public transit projects, before the Olympics. Not all of them, many of them have not been built, but we've made some progress here. And I think the Olympics as an organizing principle for investments is an exciting one that this region did. Can do better. But yeah, and I want to make sure that we're using every last dollar to result in lasting impacts.
Okay. You voted no on the hoster overrun liability, but then in October 2025, you voted 14-0 with the rest of the council to waive planning, zoning, and environmental review for Olympics construction with no binding anti-displacement protections. What are some of the plans that you have to make sure that homeless people are not, being swept ahead of the sporting events? Because we know that this is one of the major things that cities end up doing. The beautification initiatives oftentimes is just to move homeless people around, engage in sweeps and things of that nature.
I think that's part of why. That's part of why it's so important to actually build out a real system of homelessness response that's effective. We have to be able to bring more.
Did you do an Can I just say on the public transport stuff? I think also the other thing is, when we had like the train daddy in New York, he actually was very capable of putting together things that I think other people thought was impossible. A lot of train lines were made a lot quieter. So in New York, there are the train lines above ground and there's the ones underground. And obviously, as you can imagine, if you live near one that's above ground, it doesn't sound very fun. And it only took them like a year to improve all of those stations. It kind of sucked. And there was a long period of time of like, okay, well, I guess I got to take this like stupid bus transfer instead. But it was definitely worth it for like the noise pollution. And the other thing that they did, I think it was like when they expanded the Q line to the Upper West Side, it was like only a matter of like 2 or something years for like 6 new stops. And it was very straightforward. The fact that apparently LA has been trying to build railway or like build public transport from the valley to like, I don't know what this area would be called. to the west side. This is my understanding is like a transplant. Okay, so someone, people, please be kind to me. Okay. Which one of these is the 405? I think it's the pull up maps. I'll pull up the image. I'm looking into this right now just to show you guys. All right, so this is kind of hard to see, but underneath this blue line, there's this freeway. This is the 405. And to the right of this red line is the 101. And basically, if you're trying to get to the valley, you have to take, and you're in like Westwood, or you're in downtown or whatever, and you're trying to get to the valley, you have to take one of these two freeways. And the freeways are basically always, if unless you're going at a time when no one is awake, there's always traffic. There's literally always traffic. And you would think by now, like, they would build some public transportation between these two areas so that you don't only have to take one of these two freeways. And apparently there have been talks about doing this since, like, let me pull up the Wikipedia article. Here it is. The Sepulveda Transit Corridor is a two-phase planned rapid transit line in LA. First aims to connect the San Fernando Valley to Los Angeles Basin through Sepulveda Pass. And then second phase would extend further to LAX, which should be based. It would relieve the highly congested 405 through Sepulveda Pass. Apparently, this has been in talks since 1980. Dude. Dude, what the fuck? Okay, and then initial proposed routings and modes. In 2018, they released the 6 alternative railcon. 2018? Are you kidding me? Guys, it's been 8 years. They're just like, they're literally just over there making the concepts for the plan. This Wikipedia article is so funny. Like, listen to this. In June 2018, they released 6 alternative rail concepts. Okay, let's see. In January 2019, they released a refined second set of rail concepts. Okay. In July, they released a third set of concepts. Okay. The feasible study for both phases was completed and presented in November 2019. Okay. By December 2021, 6 alternatives had been prepared for further consideration. Are we going to actually start on any of this? As of January 2026, it's in the environmental review stage for planning. Are we ever getting out of the planning and the concept phase? This is like me talking about going to the gym. I'm like, okay, so basically the concept is, okay, so I have a concept of a workout. Okay, so the concept of the plan of the workout is 8 years later. So the concept is, have you considered considering the consideration of a conceptual concept? As of October 2025, they have considered 5 alternatives. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. But then data centers can just go up immediately even when the commuters are against them. Yeah, it's like, here's this train that everyone wants. Yeah, we're going to need about 10 years to consider the concepts of these plans. Oh, AI data center that will make everyone's lives worse? We can build it tomorrow. Yeah, where do you want to bulldoze all these black communities? Sure, go for it. Yeah, no problem. By all means, go for it. As many as you want, for sure. It's fine. Trust it. No, really. It's fine. You want us to do the bulldozing? Gladly. You want us to build the super noisemakers for extra torture? We were thinking the same thing, dude. We were literally thinking the same thing. For sure. Okay. And you want to steal all of the water. Say less. Bro, literally just say less. We're already on. We actually are in the middle of this conversation. We actually finished building it. Yeah. Here's a massive subsidy. You're welcome. Trains. Okay, so we're gonna need another decade of thinking about it. Like, oh my fuck. Oh my god. God. This is so sad. This is what I mean by, it's like, can we get some candidates that are actually trying to make anything happen? All right, man. Okay. Sorry, we can't build a bridge. We have to do 1 million ecological tests. Thankfully, we're building a data center hyperpolluter instead. LA did have one of the best public transport systems back in the early 1900s with red cars, but it all fell apart due to private real estate sprawl. Correct. Absolutely. No, I mean, like, the US in general, before like car sales took over, public transport was actually like pretty darn good. Anyways, I'll just fucking, this fucking demonic roundabout is sending me, man. Okay, can I don't want to watch anymore. We already saw the Israel part at the beginning of stream. I can't. I can't listen. I feel like I'm just being mean. And I just want more, you know? I just want more out of my candidates, and I want people with like vision and future like foresight, and I want them to be so bold that they make me feel like something can happen. I don't want a candidate that's like, oh, so we're not doing anything? Okay. I don't feel like you're sure that we're going to do anything. But I did want to show you guys this as a bit of a Sunday fun day. All right. First provided without context, this.
We're kind of experimenting more with less branding on the outside, so you're gonna start seeing that, for example, with this sweater.
So nobody will
or like smaller labels.
Nobody will accost you for.
And then we brought back this handcuff.
We're experimenting more with less branding, so nobody will accost you for wearing Teddy Fresh merch. Change our image? What are you, crazy? No. We'll just make the label smaller. Thank goodness our merch isn't all just easily identifiable by being adult toddler core. You. All right, so for people who missed it, let me pull this up. This is probably like, it's just so...
Look what this depraved freak posted on.
Sorry. Not that. Wait, is this a compilation?
Got my pussy lasered. And so they're like, oh, I can't believe he's sending her nasty fucking lasered pussy. Tell Anisa don't post her fucking pussy updates on the timeline. I don't want to know what your fucking nasty business is about lasering your vagina. I wish I lasered my pussy sooner. Like, I don't need to know that her vag is fucking like, these guys are talking about my pussy. It's like, then don't post it. Is that the post where she said she lasered her pussy? I can't believe you would hate on Anisa for saying she lasered her pussy.
Guy respects women, by the way. This guy, big women respecter. Wait, I gotta show you guys this. Hold Whoever clipped this, absolutely goated with the sauce. Is when your family members call women prostitutes. Classic role model behavior is when your family members call women prostitutes. Yeah, that's a role model. Now that's a role model. If I've ever seen a role model, that's a role model. Mm-hmm.
I respect women, Carolyn. I don't know if you know that about me. I respect the shit out of women. And you know what? I'm gonna respect you and say ta-ta for now. But just like imperfect.
She's a fucking bitch of a person. She's a vile fucking bitch.
Like bullshit.
You literally called Caroline Kwan a Chinese honeypot, bro. Don't worry, guys. He respects women a lot. Check this out.
What about her who just posted to her timeline she fucking lasered her nasty pussy? To learn about your nasty lasered pussy. Okay? Sorry, Reddit put a picture of Anisa, an announcement that Anisa lasered her fucking pussy. What? I finally lasered my pussy.
Dude, that's a great sound art. I finally lasered my pussy.
And I'm like, weird and gross. Ma'am, she told me she lasered her pussy. Again.
She told me. No, she posted on her story.
She's the one that announced to the world she fucking lasered her pussy, okay? If anyone's a sexual deviant, it's her.
Sexual deviancy is when you get laser hair removal. Okay. Right. Guy who respects women. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about is that he has decided in a very bizarre choice to sue iDubbbz for showing the Destiny message, the C. Samsony message, but he's not going to sue C. Samsony. Mm-hmm. What message? Let me see if I can pull it up. 1 second. If I could just show you guys. Okay.
Or the cease and desist. I only brought it up because he started like dancing, talk about the lawsuit with them. Or the cease and desist. I only brought it up because he started like dancing around like he was some paragon of principles and stuff. And I was like, no, you're not. Also, I just want to give a shout out to my friend, the Pope, Nicholas Diorio, who...
At Denims, why do you sound like you smoke 30 cigarettes an hour? Wait, do you mean that? I've always wanted to like smoke to make my voice like more gravelly, but smoking is bad for you. So, and I'm a fucking loser, so I don't want to like I don't want to give myself cancer just to have a sexy gravelly voice, you know what I mean? Yes, like borderline throat cancer. Wait, dope. Wait, I get to sound like that without actually having smoked? Wait, hell yeah. I get to be soy but pretend like I'm not soy? Yes! Oh my god. Wow, thanks for the compliment. Thanks. Thanks. Oh my gosh.
He's having a hard time rationalizing my decision, and that's fine. Listen, I like Nick. He's the Pope. You can't question the Pope. Don't make me blow that gray smoke. I'm just kidding. I was just trying to play the analogy. Excuse me.
You don't sound soy. You sound very heavy tea. Wait, actually, guys, I went to the doctor and I was like, "Okay, can I get like a hormone test? Because like I'm tired." And they actually told me I was fucking low T. They literally called me my fucking doctor called me low T to my face. My doctor literally looked at me straight up and was like, "You're low T. You're literally low T." And I was like, "No, don't say that to me." Oh my god.
Denims is streaming.
And he literally pointed and laughed and said I was low T, and then told me to get my soy beta ass out the door, which caused my cortisol levels to spike, but not my T levels. Isn't that fucked up? Did he default dance on you? Bro, he Fortnite dance on me. Same. I can't believe I got T-Mog, dude.
No, I completely don't mind him thinking this is stupid or petty or that he disagrees, but he says,
is he ever not sick? I feel like we'll go like months not hearing about Ethan Klein at all, and then I come back and he's still sick. I don't get it. I don't understand. It's like he's always sick. I get sick frequently. I don't understand how he's always sick.
for the life of me fathom why it would be a flex. This season it says 2 poor losers in Canada over them showing a comment completely different person said without pursuing destiny. And I've seen a few people that I like and respect echoing this sentiment. So that's why I thought I'll just respond to it. And with love, right? Just to explain myself. I mean, I've explained like the technical aspect of it, that 1, Destiny lives in America. 2, he soon after stated he doesn't believe it, right?
That's not true. Sorry, maybe there's some, like, for anyone who's missing some context, I'm trying to find, like, the post. There was, like, a post that broke it down kind of well. Ethan is chronically one shot. Bro is always on 1 HP. It's tough out there, man. I like can't find the original messages. I feel like it was easy to find before. The lying is causing him to be sick at a rapid rate. Oh. That makes sense, actually. Here, sorry. So maybe I should start from here. Where's a good place to start from?
1, Destiny lives in America. 2, he soon after stated he doesn't believe it, right?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
So those are 2 disqualifying facts.
Okay, so I do want to say I don't agree with what's being said in this comment here, but I'm putting it on screen because I think it should be addressed because it's a big, bold accusation that's very fucked up.
But
God, it's so crazy how this fucking retard, as he's spamming on Instagram and coughing and dying of whatever diseases he has, is telling me like, oh, Destiny, I used to like you so much and you need help. And I hope CPS takes his kids. I'll say it. I do. And I hope they cry about it.
Just so you know, your child contracting illnesses due to severe negligence is absolutely grounds for a fucking CPS call. And it should be. We don't want kids who are getting sick because their parents are being like insanely neglectful of them. What an unbelievably crazy statement to make. What the fuck? Why do you think CPS is ever called?
It's like I said. I said this a year ago or plus when it started.
Oh my God!
I'm just following through on my promises, man. We all know why I'm doing it. Not rocket science. Right? It's not a flex. I'm not doing it to flex. I'm not doing it to be cool.
No, you're doing it because you're a pathetic small man who needs to feel anything at all, any type of emotion at all. And so what you're going to do is take it out on iDubbbz, but not Sex Pestiny because you look up to him.
Doing it because I think it looks good, makes me look good or cool. It probably makes me look unhinged, right? To the general public. I probably look like a crazy person that's suing everybody.
It's really funny that even Nicholas Eat Oreo is finally hopping off the Ethan Klein dick riding train for 2 seconds. And he tweeted out, I can't for the life of me fathom why it would be a flex to cease and desist those 2 poor losers in Canada iDubbbz and Anisa, over them showing a comment to a completely different person said without pursuing C. Samsony. And it's a quote tweet of the original tweet that says Ethan Klein is threatening to sue iDubbbz and Anisa Jomha over bringing up on screen a post Destiny made calling Ethan Klein a PDF. Quite embarrassing. Won't dare step to C. Samsony, but will do this to people who didn't even make the comment.
And I understand that. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy for the show. I don't want to be that guy for this person, for people.
Yeah. Ethan losing the Oreo eater, dude. And then I want to show you guys this part that was kind of fucking funny. Like, we literally have lost all of the high ground. We've lost all of the moral high ground completely.
Anyway, here's iDubbbz. And enjoy the attention for the last time, my friend. You peace has come.
Sorry, one second. Let me skip ahead to the actual part that I wanted to show you guys.
Any person.
See, Dan. Yeah, Dan. Yeah.
Listen, I don't watch the podcast. In fact, it gives me an aneurysm and it like distresses me greatly to watch it. So I only hear it through the.
You just catch clips of it on your Snark subreddit. Those ones don't upset you.
Well, those are still upsetting.
Yeah, I only like watching the worst clips that are upsetting.
Mm-hmm. The ones that are curated explicitly to upset me. Those ones are terrible. But I'm on that subreddit all day, every day.
You can't, dude, when you were literally caught at the poker tournament scrolling through fucking hate subreddits, hate snark subreddits about iDubbbz, I think you lose the ability to criticize whether or not other people are looking at snark subreddits, man. Like, you're literally scrolling and screenshotting this guy's wife, man. And your excuse was, why were they live streaming me? Didn't they know? Why would they live stream me?
And I'm not even being like hyperbolic. You rolled out this scorched legume character for the express purpose of browsing snark.
Which is a shame that he tied that branding to this, because now he can't continue the character. And it was so funny that it's just such a shame.
You know, it is, right? And I mean, these are your people, right? There's like
God, can we stop with the yeah, right? Isn't that right? Yeah, cough, right? Right? Isn't that right? Can we get to the point?
Chatter of this like secret Discord of like crazy Twitter, Reddit, political snarkers, like these high-level reply guys. It's all starting to come out.
The high-level reply guy.
Well, you know, like the Jake Chinatowns and all these characters.
Yeah.
The bad empanadas and, you know, all these regular shitbags who say the worst possible things, and then they're retweeted by Hasan like once or twice a month to feed the machine.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody somehow got this entire log over the past year and a half. And I haven't seen the messages, but I have seen the name and logo for this snark community. And I mean, they wear it like a badge of honor, right? That CPS came to my house, that human skulls were sent to my house, 2 of them. And I mean, these are the groups of people you've spent the last year aligning with, right?
Cares about this meme image, but doesn't care about Sex Pestany literally saying that what he said about his kids being taken away. I would read them out loud, but then considering Ethan Klein is a massive fucking lying sack of shit, he'll just say that I was saying it. So instead of me quoting C. Samsony, I'll just let him speak for himself.
You know, your child contracting illnesses due to severe negligence is absolutely grounds for a fucking CPS call, and it should be.
Okay, so when C. Samsony says it, it's totally fine, totally acceptable, completely okay. And if someone makes a joke in a Discord server, that's become the most unacceptable thing. This, totally okay. Some random people in Discord, totally not okay. We need to do something about this immediately. Okay, dude.
It's hard for me to feel bad.
It's like, dude, you were running a harassing podcast for years, long before. I mean, it was in the Kilo video, which he'll never watch because he's too much of a coward. But he's retroactively pretended like all of the harassment he's done towards other people, including snarkers and Reddit mods and whatever, was ever because of the call, when in reality he was issuing legal documents to the snarkers and trying to issue cease and desist and get people into legal trouble long before CPS. It's just so fucking pathetic, man.
It is.
Grapevine. I have to, to use a little bit of a therapy term, I have to protect my peace.
Why is his name C. Samsony? It's like a meme to change Dusty's name to like Sex Pestony, or like in this case, C. Samsony, because he admitted to having C-Sam on his hard drive.
So I don't know what any of the details are, but I think in summary, it looks.
Take a vow of celibacy and go to a monastery. I don't know what to tell you, bro. There's no peace to be had here. You sacrificed that peace to the altar of clout when you made that content cop about me. Right?
How long ago was that again now?
Over a year.
It was like around, was it around
April
this time last year?
Yeah,
okay, so.
About a year.
I don't.
Isn't it a little bit projection that these people can't imagine ever doing something because you genuinely believe in it? That, like, I don't know, man. Maybe iDubbbz, who has a Lebanese wife, would be against you and Hila just running fucking cover and being like, Israel's actually, it's like very diverse and it's a beautiful place. It can't possibly be that they have an actual disagreement with you. It must just be clout. Okay, dude, way to fucking project, man. Way to project. Why did this chatter put Lebanese in quotes? Huh? She is Lebanon. What the fuck?
I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the guy that's suing people that's like, says.
She's Canadian. You know you can be more than one thing, right? I know this might sound crazy, but you can actually be more than one thing. Austin Show, he's not Lebanese. He's American. Like, what? Denims is not one of the fucking Arabs. She's American. It's like, what the fuck are... What are we talking? What are we doing, dude? See you on YouTube. Smiling emoji. Is this a bot? Heart. I'm just confused by you. Quote, is this a bot? Why are you quoting me? I'm shitting right now. 2014 account. Oh. Wife took the kids, huh? And the house too? And the friend group? At least you got your beers, man. At least you got your beers, man. I'm 22. You made your Twitch account when you were 12? So you violated the terms of service on Twitch. You do know that's a reportable offense, right? Okay, don't care. Telling you, man, you shouldn't break the rules like that, man. It's a crazy age to lose your kids, bro. You must have done some awful shit. Losing my kids at 22 to my bitch ex-wife. All right.
Just shitting on you, no matter how minute and ridiculous it is, forever, all the time.
Isn't that your brand?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Dude, what level of self-awareness do you have to be, or lack of self-awareness do you have to be, where you say, I don't want to be the guy who's suing everyone, meanwhile you're literally always bragging about how you're excited to sue everyone? and then your own like paid friends are here to tell you, isn't that like your whole brand? Like, just
Forever.
listen to this. Just listen to it. Let me pull up the Kilo section where he puts all the suing comments. No, Chad, it's not Brenda. It would be like a younger woman's name, like Caitlyn if he's 22. True. Now you're spitting, veggie. Here, 1 second. Let me pull it up. Where is it? The like, I'm suing. This one?
Dave 15th, Ethan on Denims first is sort of the culmination.
There's like this. There's this like. Compilation that's really funny that I hadn't seen before this video of him being like, I'll sue you. I'll fucking sue you. I'll sue all of you. Maybe if I look for it in the transcript, I can find it. Oh, thanks, L. I missed.
I don't know.
Okay, let's go back, and then you guys can see this.
It was like around. Was it around
April
this time
last
last year?
year.
Yeah,
okay,
about
so
a year. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the guy that's suing people. That's like, you know, obsessively just shitting on you, no matter how minute and ridiculous it is, forever, all the time.
Isn't that your brand?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't want to be that guy, though. You know, but ultimately,
I don't want to be the guy that's suing people and harassing people. Meanwhile, he's literally that guy. Okay. Again, if somebody has it, it's pretty funny. I think juxtaposing this comment with like him talking about like the compilation of him being like, I'm going to sue. Yeah, well, too bad. I'm going to fucking sue you. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue them. Like,
The way that he talks when he's addressing Snark, he really thinks he's that guy.
I will look for you.
no, it's not this. I can't find it. Somebody else has it on hand, but whatever, that's okay.
when you do what you did, when you put out that video when I was live, when you encouraged and applauded the CPS visits, you
Me when I hallucinate. Okay.
justified, spent time with the community that took joy and pride in it. I mean, I have to. It's just a matter of principle, right? But you're lucky because today I am truly sending you off like a pirate. This is almost like
I have to sue you. I have to. You don't understand. I have to sue you. Okay. Ethan has a right to defend himself. Bro thinks he's light, Yagami. These are lawsuits in self-defense. My favorite part is him talking about the lawsuits, and he's like, you think I want to do this? You think I want to be doing this? It's like, dog, I'm sorry, just really quickly. Did you or did you not say that you were setting a trap? Because you were excited to sue people. Either you don't want to and you're going out of your way to not do it, or it's a preemptive defensive trap. Okay. Sure, man. You know what? Sure. Whatever you say, whatever happens in your magical world, man. The lawsuits were promised him 3,000 years ago. That is actually pretty accurate, I think.
funeral pyre down the river of Glendale. I don't know. That sounds Lord of the Rings. like Gondor.
The Anduin.
A Gondorian send-off.
Send him down the Anduin.
Is that it for real?
That's the one they tossed Boromir's dead corpse off.
That's
the
one I was
waterfall
referring
of.
to.
Yeah.
Damn, you really good with that shit.
Dude, -1. -1 for Lord of the Rings fans.
But, and it's hard to explain. I know people who watch this show understand the shit that we've been dealing with since all this stuff. But it's hard to understand, like, this is a group of 50 people that have spent all day and night, 24 hours a day, unemployed, dedicated to ruining mine and many other people's lives.
I can guarantee you, even if none of these 50 people, the 50 people that I guess are in the room with us, if they did nothing, your fucking social blade chart would look exactly the same.
But this is like specifically like, yeah, the Kleins. And you've encouraged them. You've endorsed them, man.
Bro, you've literally like fucking showed off people's names and talked about going after their moms on stream. Like, what do you mean? If anyone's encouraging anything, it's you. You literally run the biggest snark podcast known to man.
You've called them great people. You've sent people there. And
You
right
confusing him with Trump?
up until the day before you got that cease and desist, you were applauding them, right? And just suddenly had a change of heart. So I apologize for.
There's something also very comical about talking about like guilt by association. Meanwhile, bro is besties with Dan Stockman, known harasser, stalker, and doxer.
Not taking your apology sincerely. I do.
Just at this point, if you're gonna full send it, just say that you have a pathetic little man baby ego and you need to sue anyone who's mean to you, except for C. Samson, because you guys are buddies and you don't want to have another pedo off, like the last pedo off of the great 2025.
You know, I've had little reason too.
Is your apology sincere? Or is this an insincere apology to
I'm
to
sorry.
another?
I'm sorry. I guess I'm sorry that I don't believe it. I don't know what that means. I wish I could believe it was sincere. That would actually make me feel like good, like that there was, some peace to be had.
If he wanted peace, he should have tried from the very beginning and taken that video, the content cop, as an opportunity to rehabilitate his image, but he didn't want to because he's a pathetic, narcissistic little bitch. And he literally, it's like, I kind of am really happy that when I see people criticize me or I see people make fun of me or whatever, it's kind of like funny. Like it does feel very like rent-free. We're seeing him say like, she's a vile fucking bitch. She's a vile bitch. Like this, again, I hate to say it, but there is something very comical. It's like, you're really mad, bro. Fuck. Oh my God. Yeah, the content cop would have just flopped if he did, but he just like, he literally can't handle being criticism. It hurts his ego so much that he doesn't know what to do about it.
But how can I see it as sincere given the circumstance?
Looks like he's interested, Ethan, in pursuing a lawsuit here in Canada. I ultimately am just like not interested in like playing that game.
Yeah, that's funny. Of course you're not. He's like, I don't want to get sued, so I'm not going to. But that's not how it works, of course. And I don't want to sue you, right? I don't want to do all this shit, but at the end of the day, I have made a commitment.
Wait, sorry, I see this chatter is still going. This chatter said, my life is so empty. Twitch chat gives me life. So if I time you out for 2 weeks, would that put you in a coma? Get comaed, bitch.
I am the ultimate hater.
See you in 2 weeks. See you in 2 weeks. I can't wait to see what next message you'll come up with in 2 weeks. And be a good little bot and come back, okay? I know you can't resist. I know you can't stay away.
And that's not even an opinion.
He'll be counting the days. He'll be counting the minutes, man.
I mean, Bad Empanada, I chased to the end of the earth.
Huh?
And he disappeared. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, these people are evil.
No, I don't know what you're saying. Like, you love him or something?
As far as they've treated me. Do I think Ian and Anisa are evil people? No. As holistic people, no, they're not evil, of course. And
no, but you just need to sue them. You just have to do it. They literally forced you to sue them. Okay.
I mean, well, who is evil, really, at the end of the day? It's a subjective term. We all have our...
There's something so funny about, like, guy married to ex-IDF member. Who is evil, really? You know? Who truly among us is evil? Right, guys? Like, that's fucking amazing.
Demons.
No notes.
Right?
Not me.
No notes.
Even you, Dan.
No.
This is not funny, Nate. This is not funny. Well, you can't put Ela on me.
That's not.
Why not?
fair.
Didn't you say you went to Vegas sick?
But
From
do
the
you think
kid.
I got Ela sick?
No,
Do you
from
think I
the
started
kid.
this? Or you think I started on a playground?
Dude, of course he would get on a plane sick. This is why I have to fucking mask up on planes.
Somewhere in LA. Kids coughing in each other's mouths.
Oh my god, I just imagined. Can you imagine sitting on a plane and then it's this guy fucking coughing next to you the entire plane ride? And then like you have the audacity to be like, hey man, could you just like cover your mouth? You just cover your mouth, and then he like reports you for he's like, I'm gonna sue you for being anti-Semitic. I'm actually gonna do that. I'm actually gonna do that.
Take Ela out of this at least.
Well, I didn't make it.
You spread it.
The Daily Mail posted it, dude.
I'm just reporting
Yeah.
the news.
I think you spread it, bro.
Am I out of tissue? I need a fresh box of tissue. Look how happy they look, though.
Look out, heads up.
My god. I can't. Oh, look. See, it's another one of these good little chuds. I love to time these people out for a couple weeks because they always come back because they're literally so value-tained. They can't stop. They can't stop showing up. They're like, okay, fine. This time I won't show up. And then in like a couple weeks, they're like, okay, I had to show up one more time. It's not that I'm entertained or anything, Baka. It's not that I'm super value-tained or anything, idiot. It's not like I like your stream or something. I could leave whenever I wanted. I have to say, out of all the insults, this one kind of like doesn't work, bro. How do you guys watch a Karen stream like this? But then is like crying about body shaming. Bro, the type of guy to be selling in my games. I already know. You're the fucker going 2 and 10 in my fucking video games. And when I'm like, bro, can you like, I don't know, man, play a second tank for us? Could you get off of Spider-Man and just like play a tank for us, please? We could really use like a shield tank. You start bitching and moaning and crying and whining like a little hoe, like a butthurt little hoe. I just know you're the type of dude to do that shit. You're the reason my rank games are so hard. My back is fucking broken, bro. It's like, oh, gotta get all of the kills. Just don't worry, guys. I got 4 kills. Can we take the point? Come on, can we? No, we can't take the point. That's okay. No, you're right. It's my fault because I didn't kill all 6 of them. My bad. Sorry, I'll make sure to kill all of them. Complain, start calling his teammates slurs. No, but like actually. God, dude. Bro literally is speechless. Bro literally.
Nothing to say?
Literally nothing. All right. But actually, are you going to say anything? Bro is speechless. Bro is speechless. All right. Anyways, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Just to say that, like, even the Ethan Klein defenders, even the Nicholas eating Oreos of the world, can't even defend the fact that he has the audacity to sue iDubbbz, but not sue C. Samsony for this comment on the screen. And his excuse was, well, C. Samsony took it back. By the way, he didn't. And actually, iDubbbz did. And he's in, like, C. Samsony's in, like, America. And iDubbbz is in Canada. Why is that a good reason? Is that supposed to be a good moral reason? That's not a good ethical reason. I'm suing this person because they're in a different country, which is more morally apprehensive. Or, reprehensible. That makes no fucking sense at all. What the hell? First Amendment makes it harder, but then at that point, he's just saying, like, it has nothing to do with whether or not it's a moral argument, and it has everything to do with, well, I just want to go after this guy because I think I can go after this guy. It's not a moral argument. A moral argument or an ethical argument would be like, this guy meant it, and this other guy didn't mean it. But that's not what he's saying, right? He's saying, like, I'm just going to go after this other guy because I want to bully him because I want to. That's it. Hila applauding herself for visiting Israel soon? What? Stop. Crash Bunnies, thank you for the 5 gift subs. Thank you. Thank you so much. Seven Guard, thank you for the 6 months also. He said it's super hard to crowdfund in Canada, more entertainment for him. But again, like I'm saying, like he has no argument, like he has no moral argument. It's literally just, I want to go after people because I want to go after them. Because I'm a litigious freak. Kitsy, thank you for looking for it. There was like something, maybe there was a compilation somewhere else of him, like a compilation of him talking about how he's excited to sue all these people. Oh, look, aw. Did I offend your VTuber? Uncle is pretty cool. It doesn't change that she sounds awful. I'm gonna be Smuggleon. I'm gonna do it again. I'm not gonna do it again. I'm not gonna do it. That is too far. It's not too far. It's fucking hilarious. You can make fun of people's voices. I've said it a million times, but I don't care. I really could not give a shit when people make fun of my voice. No, that's a crime. You can't do it. No. But I guess it makes sense that that VTuber would have a lot of viewers but no listeners. You know what I mean? Maybe the chatter's deaf, you know? I guess I didn't think about it from that perspective. That would make sense, actually. That would be real. That would be real. Okay. Didn't Egg on Twitter say you basically hated women for one of one's... Who? What? Who's Egg? I don't know who Egg is. Oh, sorry, girl with a microphone. Shut up. Shut up, dude. Shut up, dude. Oh my fucking god, dude. Stop. Yeah, sure, whatever, girl. Whatever. At least I'm not the one with the boss that's such a fucking misogynistic piece of shit. I'm talking about women's nasty pussies, and I'm calling random women in Vegas prostitutes, alright? You can't talk about misogyny when that's your boss, man. That's who pays your bills, and you just turn a blind eye. You can't. I'm sorry. All right. Never seen her and Nicholas Oreo in the same room. Interesting things to think about. There's a wait. Want to explain this really quickly? You have Fun Day in the title and you skipped this. Shut up! Those are literally my textbooks, bro. Those are my textbooks. None of those icons are even Expedition 33. Okay, no. Girl with a microphone is a freak. Dude, she's just like, she's just funny to make fun of. It's just, she's just so cringy. I just don't. I hope she continues to. I'm giving her consent to insult me in the most misogynistic way that she. All right. Go for it, girl. Have fun. Have fun. Have as much fun. I'm giving you consent. I'm giving you consent. Go for it. You have permission. You can be the world's biggest yes man for Ethan and never criticize him ever. Go for it. And pretend like you care so much about misogyny and just, yeah. Have fun. Absolutely have a blast with it. All right. Did I play Expedition 33? How are you liking it? This is a fake screenshot. I haven't played it. I haven't even installed it. I haven't even bought it. Oh, God. All right. Anywho. It's literally fake. Literally fake. All right. Okay. Stop. Looks real to me. All right, guys. I am going to head off for today. Oh. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the stream. I am going to head off. Plans to go to a fair with a friend. So please stay hydrated. Tell your homies that you love them. Gaming, we haven't gamed in a while. I've just been really busy. I've been recording content on Instagram chat. Oh, I forgot to get to the Kars4Kids thing. Well, actually, this is the perfect opportunity to do this. And a secret little fun little plug. We can do this really fast. Kind of a 2-for-1. I've been working on other content and trying new things and stuff. And maybe I can just see. Restricted profile. Why can't I look at my profile? Why is my profile restricted? What the hell? Huh? Is everyone's profile restricted? How do I... What? Why can't I see my profile? All right, well, I guess we'll just work on that another time. But yeah, I am making some content on other platforms, and I did a really good video on Kars4Kids, but I can't show it to you guys because for whatever reason, it won't pull up. I guess I could log in. Maybe I should just do that. Should I log in, chat? Let's just log in just to show you guys. You know what? It's worth it. Hold. It's gonna be worth it. Hold. Hold. Here's the video link. Okay, I think the video link worked even though, well, I guess I'm signed in. I just signed in, so the video link worked. But wait. Does it work if I'm not signed in? No, what the hell? Okay, I gotta fix my channel, I guess. I don't know what's wrong with my page. But yeah, we're doing content, guys. We're doing content. Look. Everything in America just being a complete scam, because what do you mean I wake up and I check the news and Kars4Kids is banned from advertising in California? Why? For false advertising. Because their money wasn't actually going to kids. It was going to programs in Israel. Yeah. And actually, even though like a quarter of their charity revenue comes from California, they've only ever done one giveaway for backpacks, for some Kars4Kids backpacks in California. And the rest of the money went to matchmaking services for adults, birthright trips to Israel, Jewish heritage camps, summer camps in New York and New Jersey, and a $16.5 million purchase of a building in Israel. Is this where we're at? Like the goal is just to erode American trust so completely, like no one shall ever trust a charity ever for the end of time, because everything's a scam. Just everything is a total and complete scam. Like I get it. Like if you are one of the people on the Kars4Kids team and you're like, how do we convince all these people to like give their money if they won't die for Israel? How do we get them to give their money to Israel? I guess you can't, like the jingle, like donate your money to Israel. It like doesn't like hit. Doesn't like roll off the tongue. So yeah, I guess we just lie now. I guess the economy is just like everything is crypto and lying and scamming. And I'm fine with that. I guess that's sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, apparently why is this one wearing a different shirt? Shut up. Shut up, because they're so annoying. Anyways, yeah, I'm doing stuff on, I was busy working all weekend doing a bunch of random nonsense, but yeah, I'm making more stuff on Instagram and on TikTok and on all this other stuff, and I'm trying to do new content and learn how to do fun stuff. I eventually, like, I've told you guys before, I want to get YouTube up and running, and I also wanted to do something else. I'm like blanking. I want to have guests on stream and stuff eventually, but yeah, I am working on that stuff. So I didn't stream yesterday. I got really busy with a bunch of random nonsense, and I'm busy with a bunch of random nonsense today. Probably no Monday stream, probably. So I will probably see you guys on Thursday. But we'll see. Maybe I stream tomorrow. I don't know. Probably not. But maybe we stream on Thursday. Please, everybody, have a great rest of your day. Stay hydrated. Tell your homies you love them. And I will see all of you guys tomorrow. Or not tomorrow. Thursday. Okay. Bye, everybody. Bye. Also, bye, Elle. It was nice to see you. And bye.